Appalachia events. Before you tell me about like your experience with them, what is your opinion on the events itself?
Outside perspective, they're amazing. Also, even just like if you don't get to drive them, watching dudes do that is like sick to see.
Yeah.
I also think it's important to know that like in drifting, you should do whatever you want to do.
Right.
Sort of thing. Like I feel like too many people have too many opinions about other people's stuff.
Yeah.
If someone spent all of their time, all of their money making their car look the way that they wanted to look, like who are we as like other people to judge them, sort of thing. S chassis have my heart and they always will. But they're so expensive.
Should we make that a shirt?
Make S chassis cheap again? That is such a shirt.
Make America great
yes,
again.
That is such
that'd
a
be
shirt.
Hilarious.
You definitely should. I got to get a royalty off of that. I got to get a percentage.
Yeah, 5%, bro.
Yeah.
See how you doing the pressure. Yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby. It's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy.
Welcome back to the #1 Drift Podcast on YouTube, presented by Injuku Racing. My name is Dawson, and today we have
Cash.
that's just such a cool name.
I know,
actually.
right? I couldn't have gotten more lucky.
Did you see I misspelled the fucking spell check fucked me up or whatever?
I don't even know what that says. That's crazy.
It's CAHS. This is how I spelled it on accident. Anyways,
Heck
that
yeah.
has nothing to do with the podcast. I don't know why I'm talking about that. But yeah, before we get into the episode, look below the video. Make sure that subscribe button is not still red. If it is, go ahead and press that and hit the bell notification while you're at it so you never miss an episode. And on top of that, we got some special guests coming up, especially this coming weekend, which you guys are actually watching right now. So be on the lookout for that. Again, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, so you're not going to miss those. And of course, we are going to be talking about parts and stuff, I'm sure, in this podcast. So as always, you can find those on Injuku most likely. And those links are always in the description for you. Don't forget, you can use code CIRCLEOFDRIFT on there and get free custom sticker pack. I haven't mentioned that.
Oh, that's
in a bit,
rad.
but
I need that.
yeah,
I gotta do that.
Just any order you make, just type in that code on Injuku, and you'll get an extra sticker pack with your order.
Sick.
So, yeah, which you just got one of the stickers too.
Oh, well.
Yeah, those are two of the ones that come in. Yeah.
Sick.
But I forgot where I was for a second. Oh, speaking of Injuku, though, big shout out to Injuku and the team and Hiroya Minoa. I always fuck that name.
I
up.
would
Every
not want to
time I
be in his
say it,
position.
dude.
I wouldn't want to
I
have to
feel
like
so
say
bad.
that.
That's
yeah.
why I just say Minoa.
Yeah,
because
dude,
that's so much
same.
easier
I
to
either say Hiro or Manoa. Like I never say it together.
Either way, big shout out to him, dude. It's 2 back-to-back podiums in FD. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Especially being how young he is and just coming into FD, taking it by storm this year. So, huge shout out to them. And then, sadly, didn't have the best outcome myself this weekend. Went to Driven Luck Circuit and did 2 laps that were okay. And on the third one, as soon as I clutch kicked to enter, my drive shaft exploded. So, got some work to do on that, but we will be fucking back. I don't know, dude. I feel so bad too, which I know they feel bad, but every time I go to Driven Luck, my car fucking breaks.
Oh my
like,
god.
badly to where I can't drive at all. Anywhere else, like it's something I can kind of
like,
work around a little bit, or I can fix a little.
Yeah.
No, never there.
That's crazy.
But love you guys anyways. You guys are awesome. Sorry, that was a long-winded intro.
It's
but
alright.
yeah, you want to give a little introduction on who you are a little bit?
I think the best introduction for myself is what my Instagram bio is, and that's I'm an 18-year-old wannabe drifter. Because
wannabe my ass.
I'm a wannabe for sure. Yeah, I started when I was 14. I started when I was 14, which is pretty young for drifting, I'd say. Been in it for 4 years.
All right, Manoa.
I know, right? Except I'm nowhere near. Dude, that's so crazy. Like, I know we're just going to keep circling back to him somehow.
Right.
But, like, he's as old now as I was when I started, and I could not link a track.
Yeah,
and he's winning FD. That's insane. Anyway,
mind-blowing.
Started when I was 14, so this is, I think, technically my 5th season, but, like, 4th year driving, whatever, however you want to call it. Yeah, I like to do comp drifting. I do. This year has been, like, a pretty good year for me, so it's kind of funny. Like, every other year my drifting career so far has just been learning how to drive, and then this year was like, all right, I'm gonna go do actual stuff now. So that's
now you're learning all the ins and outs of everything.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Which is the harder part,
Definitely.
in my opinion.
Definitely. There's a lot of like little
It's a
tiny
headache.
little things that
Yeah.
like like one moment you'll be like struggling on one thing and you'll learn this little tiny trick and just be like, oh, how did I not like think of that before? And now everything's so easy. Like with tandem drifting,
I was
like
about to ask, what's that one?
yeah,
thing?
my one
Spit it out.
my one thing for me with tandem drift, like with following somebody, was like what. So like okay, it's gonna be hard to explain, but someone will film a run of you following somebody,
Mhm.
and you'll be like in your head before you watch the video, you'll be like, dude, I was on top
on
of
his
him.
shit.
Yeah, and then you'll go watch the video and you're like, holy shit, I was like 5 bus links behind him. The biggest like tip is find someone that is your friend, hopefully not just some random person,
Yeah.
and like beg them to let them hit you or let you hit them. Because after you
Just so
hit
you
somebody
can
in
feel
tandem,
that
you
line.
instantly like your whole perception will change instantly, and you know like what is actually close and what isn't close.
yeah.
Yeah,
I get that.
that's the one trick for me.
I still have yet again, dude. I will preface this to as many times as I need to. I'm not that great of a driver, but
He's being humble.
the only time I've never doored anyone before. I've never tapped anyone's door yet.
Yeah.
But I got so close one time, and I got GoPro footage. I don't know if I still have that actually. That was really old, but no, have yet to get that feeling. But I've wrecked into a car before, a couple times.
So,
So,
I don't know if that counts. I don't know if
I don't know
that
if that
counts.
counts or anything,
No.
but you know,
Yeah. I think it's also important too. Like, dudes will get into drifting and be like, instantly as soon as they get into drifting, like, all right, I got to go crash into somebody's car. Like, I feel like
who
it's
the hell's doing that?
there's a lot of people that are like
Don't do that.
barely linking the track, and then they're like, all right, I'm gonna go get in a 3-car train with like a bunch of dudes. And
You
it's
got
like
balls, bro.
you gotta be able to consistently put down a lead lap like every single time, and then start tandeming. I feel like, or at least that's my
Even now,
opinion.
which, like I would much rather tandem. I'm still trying to figure out my car, which is a
yeah.
big problem.
That's like
with
half
what
the
I'm
half
doing
the
right
battle.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't trust my car enough
Yeah.
to get in the tandem line
Exactly.
at the moment. But Jesus, dude, yeah, I need to learn how to tandem better.
that's also
Yeah.
another good thing to have is the skill to be able to know that you're not ready for that.
True. Yeah.
Like, don't
yeah.
push beyond your limits. Like,
Even when my car was fine, I was still like,
a little shook
I
up
don't
about it.
want. I don't want to fuck.
Yeah, you
someone
don't want to
else's
be
car up.
responsible for
My
someone
car was
else's.
$600.
Yeah, you don't. Know
I've
how
never
much,
really
yeah.
given a shit about my
Yeah.
car.
That doesn't mean that you shouldn't care about someone else's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get
So,
that.
Be a good person.
Be a good. Yeah, be a good person.
Keep drifting the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
we've
yeah,
already
we've
went on
already
a
done
rant.
the
This is
tangent
already
thing. I
bad.
apologize. You guys love it though, right? Leave it in the
Probably
comments
not.
if you do. If you don't, I won't know. I'll feel bad again. Anyways, so I actually wanted to bring this up. Your first drift car was a E28,
Yeah,
right?
E28
Fucking
5
5
Series,
Series,
5
dude.
Series BMW.
Why?
So funny story. This is gonna go on another tangent. I already know it's gonna happen.
Probably.
So like I stated before off camera, I started doing music. That was like my thing when I was a little kid, like 12 and 13. I started doing music, and I went and actually like performed and like it was actually like doing something, and it was like
Do
almost
the damn thing.
it was almost a career. And then I was like, this isn't that cool anymore. As I like got older,
Just
I was like,
grew out of
it's
it.
not that cool. And I started like looking on the internet, and I was like, dude, drifting is so sick. Like, I need to do this. I somehow need to do this. And I talked to my dad about it. Shout out to my dad, by the way. He's like the best dude ever, probably. But
Oh yeah.
anyway, I talked to
We'll
my
get
dad
to that.
about it, and I was like, dude, please, because I was like a kid at the time. There's no way I'm going to afford a drift car. I was like, please, somehow I'll do anything. Get me a drift car, please. And he's like, I have no idea what drifting is, because he came from like a drag racing, like dirt car racing background.
Oh well, at least you still came from some type.
Yeah,
of
like, well,
motorsport.
yeah, like growing up, I've always been like around cars and working on cars
Yeah.
in some way, but they were never like, they're always like muscle cars and like drag cars and stuff like that. Never anything about drifting. He's like, I have no idea what this even is. And I showed him a video, and he's like, that looks stupid. We're not doing that. So I was like, Dad, please. And somehow it ended up working out. We went to a drift indie
Now
event.
he loves it.
Yeah,
It's
we went
just
to
funny.
we went to a drift indie event, and I got him to ride along. And Dan, I'm gonna butcher his last name, Dan Perfeline, I think. He's like one of the owners of Drift Indie, like one of the higher ups of Drift Indie.
Yeah.
Dan of all trades is his nickname. So
Dan of all trades.
Dan of all trades. Anyways, I got
Shout out to you,
I got my
Dan.
dad. Yeah, big shout out to you. I got my dad to ride in his car. It's like a turbo LS SC300, like crazy car.
Yeah.
As soon as he got out of the car, went up to him, and he was smiling ear to ear, and I was like, I got him.
Yeah,
I got
that's all
him.
it takes.
Yeah.
Which, dude, and technically anybody, that's really all it takes.
Oh, definitely.
That's what happened with
yeah,
me.
definitely.
Is I took one ride along. I think I've told the story a million times. I'm not gonna give the long version, but I went and rode along with someone all day, and by the end of the day, I was sitting there in the passenger seat with my arms folded, and I was like, "Fuck this shit! I just want to drive. I'm
Yeah,
missing out."
yeah.
And went and bought my car the next weekend. so-
Literally. That's basically what happened with us. After that event, we were like, all right, we got to buy a car. We started scrounging Facebook Marketplace, and my dad is a humongous Ford fan. Like, everything that he's ever had is somehow Ford related. And somehow or another, the day we went home, listed that same day on Facebook Marketplace was a E28 BMW with a 302 50 V8 swap.
Oh,
Already
it had
done
a,
to it.
It had a 5.0.
Yeah,
in
it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know
Already
that.
done. And we were like, all right, that's
It looked
pretty
slow
cool.
as dog shit in the video.
It's
so I
so
figured
bad.
it was pretty
It's so
stock.
bad. So, yeah, so about that, when we went to pick it up, we were under the impression that it was a pretty, like, sorted, nice car. Because, like, I guess at some point in that car's life, it was professionally swapped by, like, an actual shop, like, did it. And somehow, we think the story is that somebody paid the shop to swap it. They blew the engine up, and then they, like, haggardly, like, super quickly, like, just threw another engine in it to, like, sell it. And the engine that was in it at the time when we bought it was on its last leg,
shit,
like,
yeah.
about to blow up.
That's
When I hope the dude isn't watching this, he probably is, or somehow. I don't even know. I should probably reach out to that dude somehow. Anyway, when we get there, we're like looking over the engine, and it looks like it's like leaking oil really bad. And we're like, all right, well, we'll check the oil. We went to go find the dipstick, and there was no dipstick. And we asked the dude, we're like, okay, where's the dipstick? How do you check the oil? He's like, oh, the hole's down there, but I don't have the dipstick anymore. He's like, I just give it a drink every now and again. That was his exact words. He just gives it a drink every now and again.
Oh my god.
But it was a crazy good
Sloppy
deal.
mechanics
It was a
101,
crazy
baby.
deal. Yeah, it was a crazy deal. So I went and got it anyway, and it was like, all right.
How much did you pay for it?
I honestly don't remember.
Don't remember?
That'd be a question for my dad.
Ah,
He paid for it.
damn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shout out, Dad.
Because you don't see those cars very often. just,
They're
like, in
sick.
general.
They're
Yeah.
sick. I love them.
Really good looking car.
If they're not, the
I'm a
one that
big
I have.
E30 fan. It's like an E30's big brother almost.
It is.
All right, buddy. You
It is definitely. It's definitely his older brother for
Yeah.
sure. It's like side by side comparison. It just like looks like one is on steroids and the other one's not. Yeah.
It's like the bulldog stance
Yeah.
of one. Or
They're so
something.
goofy looking too, though. Like a straight down, like face on perspective. They're so skinny.
Yeah, it looks like
I never,
a lunchbox.
yeah, I never realized, but like the wheel to wheel wheelbase is like multiple inches shorter. Like from left tire to
Really?
right tire is multiple inches shorter than E30.
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
They're like skinny looking.
I'll be damned then.
Yeah, so got that car, figured out all of the horrendous things that were done to it, and made
Yeah.
it actually drivable.
Well, like suspension wise, what was there anything done to it?
So,
Had to have been a little bit.
when I started, I didn't know anything about anything,
Yeah,
so I was like,
course.
"Oh, I don't need coilovers. I don't need anything."
Okay.
I
That car you do.
first event, yeah, it's like a luxury car with like
Yeah, it's
super
got
soft
it.
plush
It
suspension.
look kind of small, but it's
Yeah, it's like
That's
I mean,
dope.
it's a 5 Series. 5 Series is like
Yeah.
the top of the line like type thing. I was like, I don't need any of that. Still had a factory LSD diff and factory coil or shock struts, whatever you want to call them. And I was like, yeah, I'll go drift it.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
And we went down to this. I don't even think this track is open anymore, but it
Mm-hmm.
was like a little oval. It was literally just like an oval.
Oh wow.
And they would have like you could drive for like $5. Like it was more than that, but it was like stupid cheap. And we're like, all right.
White trash drifting.
Yeah, no, it was in like the middle of nowhere. Like if you said the wrong thing, you would get shot probably. And we were like, all right, we'll go there. Instantly realized that was not gonna work. It
Nope.
sucked.
Not at all.
Got an open diff from an E30, and you can change the rear cover of the diff to fit into the like an E28, I guess.
Oh.
Because I didn't know this, or maybe they do, but I didn't know at the time. I don't think they make open diffs for E28s, so like I couldn't,
shit.
and I didn't want to weld a LSD because again I was stupid, so I figured I'd mess it up.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right,
No, it's
Yeah.
easier.
probably.
You literally just
Yeah.
well on the Z's at least. I don't take my word for any other car, but we did it on Z's. you can just take the cover off and
Just
all
like
the little
weld the
holes,
clutches and stuff. Like, yeah.
little hole
Yeah, you
in
just
the casing
fill 'em full.
inside. You just dump weld in there
Yeah.
and it fucking locks it.
Yeah. Again, maybe I could have welded it. I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right. I saw everyone on the internet where it was like, get a weld or get it open and weld it. So got it open. I actually like put a plate in it and like welded it. It was like that diff is somehow
say it's
still
better that
alive.
way.
It's somehow still alive. I don't know how.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's what I thought exploded.
yeah, it was your diff.
Driven
Yeah.
Luck was diff, and I was
Nope,
like, man,
much
that
worse.
sucks, dude, that thing's lasted me so long.
Yeah.
And then no, it's the custom drive shaft instead.
I bet that was a
Woohoo.
pretty penny.
I think it's warranted though.
Oh.
Figure that out.
Oh, you might be good then.
Good old Dave's drive shaft,
There you go.
old Nashville, Tennessee.
There
Sorry.
you go.
Anyways, sidetracked again. My
Yeah.
bad. What were you saying?
Open diff, welded it, put it in, got BC Racing coilovers. Shout out to BC. They like, I don't think I'd be
Big BC
anywhere.
guy over here, you
Big
know?
BC guy. They have like on their website, they have like the support like program where you
Mm-hmm.
can actually like talk to people about stuff.
Yep.
And that was like, shout out to whatever like little IT dude was like sitting behind this computer like, who is this kid? This kid needs to shut up because I was
wonder if
typing
it was
away.
Davey.
It might
Put it
be.
in the comments
it might
if
be.
it was you, Davey.
It might be Davey. I probably talked to this dude for like hours a day. Like, how do I get into
Davey's the
drifting?
man
Not
up
even
there.
coilover related. Like, literally not even coilover related.
do this
About
weekend?
drifting. Yeah, like about drifting. Like how to get into drifting.
That's funny.
So I got BC Racing coilovers for it. Got a open welded diff in it. I was like, all right, now it should be solid.
Yeah.
And then went back to the same little rinky dink little oval track thing. Went and was like, all right, I can actually drive. And then that's when I was like, okay, maybe I should do a clinic because Drift Indy, which I consider Drift Indy to be my home track. It's like an hour and a half away from my house, but it's still like the closest thing for me.
Well,
so
that's what Driven Luck is for me. Hour and
Yeah.
a half, like on the dot.
yeah, that's pretty much Drift Indy. It's like an hour and a half on the dot too. So I was like, all right, Drift Indy's my home track. They started doing clinics, and I was like, I'm gonna sign up for that. Sign up for a clinic, did a clinic, and that was probably the best thing I could have ever done
Yeah.
in terms of my driving. It like helped tremendously because they're like, I was expecting to go there and because I didn't really know anything about like their events or how they were ran like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I was expecting to go there and it'd be kind of like, all right, all these kids go out on track and just do stuff and we'll like sit back and watch. But they are like super, super like in there. Like they'll get in your car and help you. They'll stand on track and help you. Like they're super, super good about that.
That's awesome.
So I learned a ton there. And then after that, I just kept going to Drift Indy events. And
Yeah.
I did some...
The clinics, dude, that comes in handy.
It does.
Especially with how many of them there are.
Yeah.
Now. Like I had
they're
Phil
popping
on.
up like all the time now.
Yeah. This dude Phil came on. I think it was Phil. I think that was your podcast. Sorry if not. But no, he did like probably close to 10, 15, maybe more clinics.
Wow.
Like beginner day stuff.
Wow.
Just so that he could actually learn. and
I
get
mean,
things.
yeah.
He's a fucking killer driver.
Yeah.
Like he learned so much within like a year.
Power to
Crazy.
him. It's definitely like... I feel like some dudes like... I don't know, maybe this isn't true, but like from an outside perspective, I feel like some dudes feel like they're better than that sort of thing. Like when they're starting out, they're like, oh, I don't need to go to a clinic. I can drive. But like, even if you can link a track, a little tiny little things that you learn from a clinic are like, even just talking to dudes that are better than you.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's just the embarrassment thing. Like
that is true. That could be. Yeah.
yeah, like most people are embarrassed just to go to their first
That's
drift
true.
event, let alone like because for instance, like you probably learned of drifting or how to get into drifting from a veteran that's been in it for 5,
Yeah.
6+ years. 5, 6+ years ago, clinics weren't really a thing, which is
Yeah.
odd to say because it's not that long ago.
But it's true. I mean, even,
like,
I feel like even
I
like
never got to
3
go to a
years ago,
single
I feel
one
like
of
even
them.
3 years ago, they weren't even really a thing. Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
very few.
You
It's-
just
yeah.
raw dog it.
Yeah, literally.
And then they're like, but you're learning from those people, so like you kind of want to follow in their steps. So you don't want to be. You kind of
Yeah,
think it's
yeah, you
embarrassing
think it's like
to
a
go to the
crutch to
clinic
use,
they
yeah.
learned just
Without
on their
it, yeah.
own, and like
Yeah.
it's like no, it's not. Go to the fucking clinic.
yeah.
Like you'll learn a lot more, and
It's
you'll be
like-
able to catch up to his skill.
I
level
relate it.
faster.
I relate it to music, because a lot of dudes will be like, "Oh, I'm self-taught. Like I learned guitar like because I'm self-taught." And then like
Congrats.
use your resources. Use like lessons
Yeah.
aren't a bad thing. Like it should be used to your advantage. And yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely.
Dude.
And
Mentors
then-
are the best thing
Yeah,
ever.
they
I
are.
say it all the time.
Yeah, they do.
Doesn't matter if you have to pay for it or not.
True.
So
That's what I like about the Drift Indie clinics. I feel like other clinics are kind of like this too, but like they don't let there's no media, there's no spectators allowed.
Really?
It's like,
Wow.
yeah, it's like to remove the embarrassment.
No spectator, that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
But no
yeah,
media,
but yeah,
that's
no
crazy.
media.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
They'll have like one media dude just to like prove that it happened sort of thing, but like
Oh, okay. Yeah.
the field's not just
gotta
like
have something
littered
to
with
market
media
it.
dudes. Yeah.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. I would figure you'd want like maybe a controlled amount of media people. I agree.
Maybe.
That way, like, because as a new guy,
Yeah,
I feel
you're
like
kind
I
of
would
like,
want
yeah,
some
you
shots
see a
of my car
picture
while
and
I'm
you're
trying
like,
to
oh,
learn,
that's
you know?
sick. Yeah, true. But also, in this other aspect, some dudes, I feel like we get out there and see a media dude and be like, all right, I gotta show
Yeah,
off,
I gotta-
and then like they don't.
Pump it up a little
Yeah,
bit,
they don't
you know?
like. They're thinking more about showing off than learning about driving. So I feel like it's kind of just like to minimize the
That's
like
fair.
outside noise sort of
Shit,
thing.
when I started, dude, I couldn't even tell you where the media people were.
Yeah,
I wasn't
yeah,
focused on
you're
that
like,
at all.
yeah, yeah,
I was just like, I hope I don't
Don't
crash.
die.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
yeah. It's
Jesus.
funny. A few months ago, at the start of the season, I actually got to teach one of the Drift Indie clinics, which
No
was
shit,
super
that's
sick
cool.
because it was like, I started there.
How'd that
and
happen?
So first round of DISL, which is the main like driving series that I do. It was early in the year, and the day before the DISL, they had a clinic. It just so happened they had a clinic, and I was like, oh well, I'm gonna be up there anyway, so like, could I? Oh no, actually, what it was is so I was going to high school at the time.
Oh my
And,
god, that's so
Like,
weird to think
'cause I
about.
literally like I just graduated high school. For my school, for you to graduate, you have to have like community service hours.
No way.
And I was like, all right, I need community service hours, but I don't want to just like go pick up trash or something. So I reached out to Dan at Drift Indie and was like, yo, if I come teach at clinic, will you give me community service hours? And he's like, yeah.
Sure.
So I showed up. Yeah, it was right before DISL, so I was going to be there anyway. So it worked out perfectly.
That's so
Came up,
funny, dude.
Yeah, came up, everything. It was like, all right, and taught a bunch of dudes. It was awesome to see. Like, it's
I had
awesome.
to go work at some fucking women's day at the hospital, bro. That shit sucks.
Do other schools do that? Like,
Well,
where you have to have community service
I don't
for
remember what the community service was for.
that? Or was that like unrelated?
So no, because at the time, I don't know if they even still do it, but Tennessee was the only state that offered free community college for 2 years.
Oh,
So you had to do community service.
Oh,
I
that's
think It was
cool.
like 8 hours or something of
Mhm.
community service to qualify for the grant.
yeah.
So
Oh, that's cool.
I did that, and then like I ended up getting fucked out of college anyways, and I was like, sick. I'll go make money instead. And
Hey, at least it didn't cost you
worked out,
anything.
But yeah,
Cost you some community service, I guess.
don't go to college. That's my opinion. I want to ask about Drift Indie in a different light, I guess. Why do you think Drift Indie gets a lot of flack for the way they run their events? I personally love it, where they keep
Do
like
they get-
exclusivity.
Oh yeah.
The whole exclusivity factor of like your car has to look good.
I think.
And
I think.
dude, I think
I think
Drift
there
Indie
needs to be
fucking
more.
of that.
I 100% agree. I think there needs to be more of that.
We've got to distinguish the levels.
And the way I see it is huge shout out. Edgar is probably not watching this, but if Edgar is somehow watching this,
He might be. I don't
Shout
know if
out to Edgar.
watches them, but
maybe not.
some of the guys up there do.
He might watch this one just to like make sure I don't badmouth him or something. But shout out to Edgar because the way I don't know if have you ever been to a Drift Indie event?
No,
before?
I want to so bad.
If anyone has been to a Drift Indie event, you know how it is. Edgar does not care. He doesn't care about
That's
your
what I've
feelings.
heard.
He doesn't care about
Yes.
anything, and that's how it should be. He will straight up to your face tell you that you suck and that your car's ugly, and that's
Yes.
how it should be, in my opinion.
Constructive criticism.
Exactly.
Get used to it.
To a point, I think.
Well,
like,
yeah, don't be
yeah,
a cunt.
yeah,
but
like, yeah.
damn. take
But
some
when you go
criticism.
to a Drift Indie event, you know that that's how it's going to be, and you like
Yeah,
learn
set
to
the
respect.
expectation.
Yeah, you learn to respect that, and I think that has helped the drifting scene like around that area so much, having that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because like it makes you want to respect your car, and makes you want to have a nice looking car, and spend the time to make your car look somewhat decent instead of just a car that you just thrash on,
right.
which I think is important. I mean, yeah, like there's a side of like drift missile, right? Like like a car that you don't spend anything on, like just
Sorry.
go crash it. But I mean, even a drift missile, you can still make it look good.
Yeah.
Like my
Rattle
G30.
can that motherfucker.
Yeah, my
Make it just one
G35.
color.
My G35, for
Shit.
instance, I have a G35 sedan. That's my seat time car.
Mhm.
And when I got that car, like as soon as I got it, it was like pretty ugly looking. And I was like, all right, I'm going to spend this whole season just destroying it. And that was probably when I progressed the most because I didn't care anything about it. But after that season was over, I wasn't just like, all right, time to take it out for the next season. I was like, no, I got to make it look good. And I actually spent the money, bought a body kit, rewrapped it, over fenders. Like, I go and destroy that car, but like it can still look good being a thrash car.
Be a polished turd.
Yeah.
All the Final Bout cars are that way.
Literally, yeah. Like the energy that Final Bout brings to drifting is, I feel like, the same energy that Drift Indy brings to drifting. Yes. And I feel like that's a good thing.
I would argue that's the proper way.
I agree. I 100% agree.
Y'all are not going to like that too much.
I don't know. I think people agree. I
don't know, man. A lot of people like comp shit, which is very weird to me.
True.
I
love
like,
comp
we
stuff.
need comp. I will never deny that we need comp. Yeah. That keeps drifting going, but man,
I also
drifting
think
is a rolling car show.
Yeah, I also think that comp drifting needs to come back to that a little bit, where people aren't just like full race car mode, where their car looks like a monster truck that is like a rally car.
That, this has like nothing to do with anything. It has nothing to do with FD rules. It's just personal nitpicking bullshit. I like when a car has, especially in FD, you go through the pits, every single one of the cars are like this. Yeah. Where front is widest track stands possible.
Yeah, a million
and
miles.
then the rear is sunk like a motherfucker.
Yeah, equal them out. Equal them out.
Like,
that does so much.
I know that drives so much better. It feels amazing.
It does so much for a car, though.
Dude, it does.
For the look of a car, yeah.
But yes, like you got, I love fitment.
Yeah, fitment is like,
I was just telling you outside.
Yeah.
Like I've got my rear fitment dialed to where it squats perfectly, to where there's like a half inch to an inch gap between the quarter, the over fenders and the actual lip of the wheel. I love that.
Fitment will always complete a car.
Yeah.
It can. You can do nothing else to a car if it has good fitment and like decent wheels. It doesn't even have to have the best wheels in the world. Yeah. If it's just decent fitment, you're like, all right.
I put spacers on the rear just to make the fitment better and so screw the drivability.
I'm saying all this, and then you look at the fitment of my car, and it's kind of
Yeah, yo, you're monster trucking.
No, I'm not. You don't you dare.
Well,
hey,
no, but it's
I'm gonna send you a photo. I'm going to send you a photo of my front wheels to my front fenders just so you can put it in this podcast. I go through a set of tires because my tires come off from my front fenders because they're so tight. I can't go lower unless I like cut miles out of my fenders, which I don't want to do. I could go lower though. I could always go lower.
With you.
I could always go lower.
Mustangs are hard to get low, so I understand that factor of it. And except for
if you're Tyler Zombeck. If you're Tyler Zombeck, I guess rules just don't apply to you.
Yeah.
Do you know Tyler Zombeck?
I've heard of.
Yeah, he has a white S197, and he literally like scrapes frame. It's
dude. Yeah.
And he's really good. He's really good at drifting too. Like he somehow drives it. It can't drive good.
There's no way.
No.
It's Jesus Christ.
We've somehow,
but no, the Fox. Yeah, we have. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
The Foxbody. What were you saying?
The Foxbody though, it's kind of like the IS300s. Mm-hmm. They're not body kit low like at all. Yeah. So they look dumb from the factory, but as soon as you put some type of body kit on it that gives it a little bit of ground effects, it makes it work so much better.
Yeah, that's what sucks about my car. The only reason my car is not lower is because I have long tube headers on my car, and I have had to like patch my long tubes multiple times because they're like, you look at my car, you see the side skirt, and you're like, that could be lower. If you look under the car, you're like, oh my god, like my long tubes are touching the floor at all times, pretty much, like all the time. Yeah, I need to go shorties.
My exhaust in the rear scrapes.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Whenever I get on throttle and it squats and
that's cool though.
When the sun's going down, you can see the sparks come out. I'm like, that's kind of dope, but I hope my shit don't catch on fire.
Sparks on fire.
It's good old LZ. Yeah. I don't need no tire fire.
Tire fire.
Jesus Christ. He made a whole shirt off of that.
Well, every lap that he does, I feel like his car is on fire.
Yeah, I know. You sure know how to market, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, let's circle back to your dad. So you mentioned your dad's been like, after you won him over, you had his support. So
Yeah.
like, just in the basics of it, how has that support of a parent helped with your drifting in general?
I would say I would not be probably doing anything without that support, I would say probably.
How do you
Because
mean?
like drifting is expensive. It's really, really expensive,
Very
especially when you want to go do like crazy events every weekend or
Yeah.
every other weekend. It's very expensive. So I think having that support allowed me to look into the future a lot further than if it wasn't supported by him.
Mhm.
I would have been a lot more like event to event sort of mindset versus like I'm planning events for like next season already.
Jesus.
So like
I mean, I feel you.
yeah, like that's like super super cool to be able to have that, and it's definitely like advanced my career. Like I would probably be half of the driver that I am now if it wasn't for the support that he had. Just because I would probably still be in an E28 BMW with BC coilovers.
I mean, shit. That car's cool though.
It is cool.
No, you just wouldn't have
I
gotten
still
it,
have it. We still have that car.
Oh no way.
I want to so bad, like sometime in the future, just like gut everything out of it and make it some like insane like tube
That
chassis
would be
car,
cool.
like
Yeah.
most out of this world insane car.
Do a weird
Just
swap in
yeah,
it,
just cause. I feel like that'd be so
Mm.
sick. I feel like that'd be so cool.
Yeah, that'd be a YouTube build for sure.
Definitely.
Good lord.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the only reason I asked that is because, like, given that you are so young, you obviously can't. There's not many jobs that you would be able
Yeah,
to
yeah.
fund all of the level of driving that you're
And
doing,
also
at
like
least.
finding a job where you can just be like, all right, I'm going drifting this weekend, so like if you
Yeah.
need me Friday, I can't work today, like I'm
True,
going drifting.
true.
Like yeah, I feel like it'd be impossible.
No, that's awesome though, because my parents themselves, like, I never really got like funding or anything because it just we were never rich
Yeah.
or anything like that. We never had money, but I always had moral support and like just my parents always supported what I was doing as
Yeah.
far as drifting because, I mean, dude, even at events now, like you'll get occasionally like I don't know if you have, but like a kid and their parent come up to
Yeah.
you. And the parent's like a little iffy.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, they're like, I don't know if I want to like let my son or whatever
Yeah,
get into
definitely.
drifting. I'm like, stop, do it.
yeah.
Just let them. You don't realize how safe the sport
Yeah,
actually kind of is.
yeah, it's way better than any other alternative.
Yeah,
Like, it
like
really
most of the
is.
events you go to, if you even want to think about tandeming, you better have a cage in your car. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Z's, if you have a Z, is
Yeah,
a little
it's
different
alright.
story. 'cause
They're tanks.
Yeah,
They're little tanks,
structurally
yeah.
sound, but still get a cage. I need a cage myself.
Yeah.
So, other than Drift Indy events, like what events are you going to on a regular basis so far?
Really, like this season, I feel like there hasn't been much. Like I don't know what it is. I think it's like what we talked about earlier about the way that like Drift Indy holds itself about style and stuff.
Mhm.
There's really like no other like fun day events that like I see and I'm
Kinda
like
live
I
up
want to
to
go.
it?
Yeah, I want to go to that. It's like I
Ah.
don't know. I feel like Drift Indy has put like a pretty high pedestal in my head of what a
Gotcha,
drift
okay.
event should
That's
be.
what it seems coming from a lot of those
Yeah.
drivers, man. They really speak highly of Drift Indy.
It's pretty sick. Like of course
And
there's
here
like
we are doing it.
there's
too.
like little yeah.
we just keep coming back.
Yeah,
to it.
there's like little tracks that I want to travel to, like we talked about mid pond. Like I want to go to like obviously Drift Indy
Right,
doesn't
right.
put on mid pond events. Like
Yeah.
there's been stuff like that this year, like little tracks that I
Drift
went
Indy
to.
Mid-Pond collab.
That would be pretty sick. That would be sick.
Shit.
Last I don't know what this in the time frame of when this comes out, but last weekend when I went to Atlanta to compete in the what did they call that? King of Atlanta, King of Drift, I think is what it was actually called. Yeah, something like that. Like I still will travel to other events, but it's just like if I could choose, I would just rather go to a fun day at Drift Indy if it's just a fun day.
No shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're like
Yeah.
not to be like me
I mean,
riding
I
them, but
feel
like
that,
they're
though.
pretty good. They're
Yeah.
pretty good.
Because, like, I would rather, even though Driven Luck is, like, still in its growth stages, I would still rather go to that track just
Yeah.
for a fun day if I'm doing that. Just because, like, I love the people there. I love the
Yeah.
track. And, like, it's just easy.
I think also like whatever your home track is, you kind of
Yeah.
like to format your schedule around their events,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Well,
So,
my original OG, like, home track, not so much. I, like, don't care to ever go back there, really. But, sorry.
sorry.
Don't care about that either.
That was the first comp I've ever did in my life. was that
Where?
track? Clarksville. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Damn.
That was my first.
I wasn't gonna say it, but since you brought it
well,
up,
well,
we'll just call him out. I don't care.
I'm sorry. That was the first.
No, I really
that's
don't
the
give a
first
shit.
comp I've ever done
said
in my
that
life.
before.
That's the first comp I ever did.
That was the first comp I ever did, and the last comp I ever did.
Really? Wait, you competed in that? Was it the same
very
one?
first DK comp they ever did.
It probably wasn't the one I was at.
Very first one? No, you definitely weren't there. I destroyed my shit there.
Ooh.
I destroyed a Corvette there.
That track
really
is
that
track is like very easy to just like murder your car. I feel like, or
Yeah,
like
well,
murder
it was
other
like-
people's car.
This should have been way better organized, but like he just kind of parked it on track, and that's how the accident happened as far as ours went. But like the way they set up the
Yeah,
comp
it's
and,
just
like,
well, I
it was
feel like it's
just-
just not a good
didn't make
place
sense.
really. Like I feel like it's pretty hard to like format layouts and like
Yeah.
make it fluid and stuff.
yeah.
That's what's so good about Drift Indie events because Kill Care is like so good for fun days.
Yeah.
Because like most of the layouts that they do, they don't really like they don't really intersect. So like they can send grid super fast.
Oh, that's cool.
So like
yeah.
you sit on grid for maximum, like even on the busiest days, like 4 minutes probably is like the max I've ever had to wait, and it's like
Oh, dude,
no
you
star
would
bash.
love mid pawn and driven luck then. 'Cause
Really?
It's non. Like,
Well, also I'm saying 4
track doesn't
minutes.
go
I'm
cold.
saying 4 minutes at no star bash with like 250 people on grid.
well,
so
that's true.
yeah,
That's a lot of
like
cars.
normal fun
That's
days, normal
fast
fun days, you
pace.
don't wait at all. Like by the time you're like, people will blow up their car because by the time you're done with the lap, the grid's already gone and you're ready to go again.
Oh, mid pawn and driven luck, you're dealing with overheating issues.
Oh,
That's
I bet.
like your main problem.
Because it's such a long course too. If you like
well, mid pawn
do it
is.
all, yeah,
Mid pawn is half a mile. Driven luck is like a quarter of a mile, so it's not very long.
true. But you can hot lap driven
Yeah,
luck.
It's just
yeah,
the track doesn't go cold. All
Yeah, it
day
just
at
circles
all.
back
It's
around,
just
yeah.
nonstop going unless they swap it to reverse or
Yeah.
something.
yeah. You got to have a lot of
But-
like self control.
Yeah,
to
dude,
keep your
it's-
car alive,
It's bad,
keep your tires alive.
especially like with these LS cars and stuff.
Definitely.
Corvettes horrible.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Corvettes want to overheat just on their own.
Yeah, driving on the street.
So like, yeah, that overheats nonstop. Fucking dude, Corey, do you know how he drives that Corvette? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't even know if I do.
The welder at
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I thought you were talking
So-
about some other. Yeah.
yeah, Corey. He drives a C5.
Yeah.
But he won't even pull off track unless
Oh my god.
it's the temp gauge is pinned. Once it's pinned, he'll finally come off track. And I'm
more,
like,
yeah,
dude,
more
you're
power to him.
fucking
More power to him, I
insane.
guess. But
He's like, I've got a 6.0 sitting in the shop, and I've got a clutch sitting in the shop, ready to go.
that's true, I guess.
I'm
and,
like,
yeah.
okay, more power to you. It's fucking hot in here, though. I don't want to deal with that.
That is another thing. Is like driver like stamina.
Yeah,
Like sitting in the car
can't.
that long, I'm like,
No.
all right, I gotta get a drink or something.
Yeah, dude. No, and I was like, whenever I threw the RB in mine,
Mm-hmm.
the trans is different. So like, I had to like cut out some stuff and make it work.
Oh, so you're
And I
getting
had
all
this
that heat. And
Big
stuff.
fucking hole in it
Mm.
for a second, but I took it to my buddy Wes's house to. I don't remember what we did. I think it was to weld the hydro back in or something.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You're gonna die. You don't want that." I was like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
He was like, "That's gonna be
A
hot,
lot, yeah.
like as fuck."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, what do I do?" Or
Yeah.
like, what
Yeah.
do I do about that? He was like, just 1 second. And then he went and grabbed that like sticky insulation stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
He was like, just wrap, don't even worry about cleaning it. Just wrap it around everything right there.
That's
And
sick.
cover it all up. And I was like, really? I was like, yeah. And,
Did it
and-
work?
and I started it and I was like, oh my God, there's like no heat coming out of
It
there.
worked?
At all.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's
dude,
sick.
that's smart.
That's sick. I might need that. My
yeah, you
car's
should
like
definitely
that.
do that.
My car's like that.
Oh, that shit did wonders. Brought so much temp down inside the cabin.
Good.
Tell me how the transition into the Foxbody was. Like what
Okay,
because I
that's-
know
yeah.
there was a process with the Foxbody. It wasn't finished or anywhere near ready and all
Yeah,
that. So let's dig
so-
into that part.
Started, as we like 37 rants ago, E28,
Yeah.
right? Not the best car. Kind of sucks. They make no angle kits for like there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's no angle kits, no rear, no nothing. So I wanted a car that was like competitive because I wanted to do competition style drifting. It's like I don't think that this car can be the car because I can put more power to it, but if I have more power and I can't get more grip in the car or more angle, like what does that do?
Yeah.
But I was like, I'll do it anyway. So I looked about buying a crate engine that was like, it's a 302, but it was bored and stroke to a 347 and all bunch of fancy stuff. And I bought the crate engine anyway with the hopes to put it in that BMW. And then as I already had the engine sitting in the garage, the more and more I looked at it, I was like, maybe that's not the smartest idea in the world. And I was like, maybe I should move to another chassis. So I talked to my dad a ton about like different chassis, and S chassis have always had my heart. So I was like, I'll do S chassis. And my dad was like, do you really want to do an S chassis? And I was like, I do. And he's like, if you don't do an S chassis, I'll get you a Foxbody. And I was like, all right. And then, that's how it came about, basically, because he offered to get the car. And we actually got that car. We got that car for $300 in a field.
Shit.
In a field. Yeah. $300.
Yeah, I saw some of the pictures from back when you
it was
first
pretty
got
rough. It was rough.
Shot.
It was rough.
I was like, man, you did some magic to that
yeah,
car or something.
Really.
Damn.
That car has been through so many like stages, I feel like.
Really?
Like its life. I don't know.
Like known that you know of, or
oh well, like in
Just
my
like what you were
possession.
talking
Like I've
about.
like changed like so many stages of it. I feel like because when it started, I was like, all right, I'm gonna make it look as stock as possible and like as clean as possible, but then put this like crazy motor in it. So we did that, like repainted the car. It was like a beautiful. It was kind of the similar red that it is now, but it was a little different. Beautiful red. All of the body panels were like perfectly straight. Like everything was perfect on it. It was the first car that I ever had that had an angle kit. It was the first car.
yeah.
And Scotty D. I used Scotty D angle kit. Put that on the car and went and drove it, and I was like, oh my god,
man,
E28s suck. These are
this is the
awesome.
best car ever.
Yeah. So that's kind of just how it spewed down the rabbit hole of just wanting to like go to the next level of car. And it just so happened that Fox bodies were cheap at the time, I guess.
Yeah.
Which actually I don't think Fox bodies were cheap at the time, but that one was cheap.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, those I know. Well, actually, I don't know. I might be wrong about this. I'm gonna ask you if he doesn't know. You guys correct me in the comments.
I'm sure they will.
Did the trunk car Fox bodies? They didn't come with a manual in them, unless it was a cop car, right?
I don't think that's true.
Or maybe that was.
I could be wrong.
No,
there's probably some like Fox body guru that knows every
Coyote.
little.
What was the bigger motor package for that year? The
For Fox
bodies?
body, I think the
Wasn't it
I think the 5.0
was it a
was just the
5.0?
biggest. Yeah.
Okay, I
Like
didn't know if
it's
it
like the
had
old
5.0
push
or
rod
not.
style. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so maybe that's what it was. You could get a manual in the trunk
Yeah,
car, but you
I
couldn't get
think
a 5.0. They were all
I think
the baby motor.
that sounds right. Yeah, that sounds
Okay.
right.
They'll
like
correct you.
that
They'll correct us.
I don't know either, to be honest. But no,
Trunk
I think
car
you
is
could.
much
I think you could. I think it's the opposite. Or no, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you
I
could.
feel like the
I think
cops
you
would want
could.
the bigger motor.
But maybe. I don't know. The cop cars are sick.
yeah,
I do know that the cop car
Trunk
ones were
car
like
is
a
best
lot
Fox
lighter.
body.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
you
coupe,
can't-
coupe is the way.
You just can't deny that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. If you're talking about the hatch, bro, just get it. Go ahead,
Yeah.
leave. Don't
Yeah.
do that. No, I'm just kidding. Don't leave. We love you. But it's okay.
What was I saying? I don't know what I was saying. I was gonna say something, but I don't remember.
well,
what
it
I
was
gonna
just
say.
it was about we were talking about the setup. Of the
Oh
trunk
yeah.
car,
Oh yeah.
but
That chassis of that car was actually originally a V6. A V6.
okay.
Yeah, it's a
Nice.
V6.
Yeah.
So, and now has a 5.0 in it. Well, technically it's like a 5.6 or whatever they are. Someone's gonna correct me on that too. I don't know the conversion between
Right.
CC or not CC, cubic inch to liter, but
right. Yeah. Who fuck all that.
someone's gonna
Yeah. Y'all
someone's
can,
gonna
y'all can
roast
do that
me.
math in the comments if you want. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, whatever 347 is in liters. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, okay. So other than like angle kit, the obvious stuff, what suspension wise do you have to do to a Fox body to get it to like actually drift correctly? 'Cause
So
they have weird suspension.
they
geometry.
they kind of like suck, kind
Yeah.
of like if you really think about it. Are we talking like what I did when I started with the car, or like what I have now?
Tell me what you did when you started to get it to like the first track
Okay.
day where it actually
Yeah.
worked and functioned a
Yeah.
little bit.
So what I did is used SN95 rack in the
Okay.
front, which like
Why?
it's almost identical, but I think someone's gonna quote me on this. But the SN95 has a little bit bigger room in the rack where the tie rod like kind of goes through a little bit.
Oh,
There's like a little bit more room,
okay,
so you can
okay.
get like the clevises of the tie rods fit through a little
Yeah,
bit
we'll
more.
go inside of it.
It was literally like that Scotty D angle kit and BC coilovers was like
That's it.
that's it. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, and
So
I guess you have to do so those cars are straight axle rear end. They're not like IRS.
Okay, yeah,
So I did a mini spool, which would basically be like a locker sort of thing. It's just like two little metal plates that go in the diff that just basically make it welded pretty much.
they just sit in there. You don't weld them.
No, they like go
I
through.
don't know nothing about
They
straight
go
axle.
through like because like the straight axle it still has like the I don't know what you call that, but like the little like the thing that's inside the diff, like the
Well,
pumpkin,
yeah.
inside the
I know what
pumpkin.
you're
They
talking
still have that, but then like the axles come through, and like the open diff ones have like a little metal thing that like as it turns when it slips it'll slip and like that's what makes it open. So you
Gotcha.
take that out and you just put two like metal blocks with a pin
That's
through it.
cool.
Yeah, so it's just like
Huh.
completely locked. Yeah.
Wow.
You can also like different companies make like LSDs for them and stuff like that you can put in that some people use, but I personally have never
Yeah.
like had good luck with the LSD. I always just
Oh, that's
do
crazy.
locked.
That sucks that everyone like says that straight axle is like kind of bad for drifting, but like I don't.
It kind of is. Well, it has its advantages and disadvantages. I feel like
Yeah.
if you break a straight axle car, like if you break like an axle or something, like you're doing something wrong. Like or you have way too much power or something. Like those things are indestructible.
Like
Like
holding the e-brake.
I guess something like that. They're indestructible. The only disadvantage, in my opinion, is obviously with them being straight. Like there's no adjustment.
Yeah.
So like you can't add toe in or anything.
There's
Like
no
there's no
forward bite
progressive.
and
Yeah,
shit.
there's no progressive. You can get a lot of forward bite by
Right,
like
maybe
tricking.
side
Yeah,
bite.
like tricking the
Yeah.
suspension in a way. But yeah, side bite is pretty hard to get out of
Yeah.
those cars because like a Z, for instance, you just set it with a bunch of toe gain, toe in, and you just get on throttle and it squats like that, and
Mm-hmm. Yep.
you're gone. Whereas like a Fox or any straight axle car, you can't really do that.
Yeah, dude, I would run like half an inch, if not more, of toe in
Yeah.
on the Z with like 255, 265s. Oh my god, I loved running the VQ when it was extremely gripped up because then
Yeah.
it's literally just you just stand
Foot
on
to the
gas
floor,
pedal. That's
yeah.
all it is.
Yeah.
Z's are great, dude.
But yeah.
fucking love Z's.
Yeah, when I started,
just
that's
ugly.
I didn't know any of that. Like anything that we just talked about rear end, like
Yeah.
like squat and stuff like that. I didn't know any of that. So it was like it just had like coilovers on it, which technically the rear end is like divorced or whatever. It's
Yeah,
like shock
separated.
and whatever. But yeah, that mini spool angle kit. That's all I did,
Wow.
and I
Okay.
drove it like that for like a year. I think a year and a half, like pretty much exactly like that.
So what's the difference in that setup and now then?
A lot,
Okay.
kind of. It was mainly just like as I progressed, I learned more about what in a car does what sort of thing, and like how to get the most out of a chassis.
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of like little tiny tweaks. The biggest like complaint I had with the car was it had like no self steer, which if anyone has like drifted a Mustang chassis, I feel like they're all kind of like that. They just naturally don't have a lot of self steer. So I actually moved the lower control arm forward from like the factory mounting point to add more caster into the car. So it's like an inch further forward than
Okay.
factory to add more caster. I went with like super stiff. We were talking about this earlier. I have like 22K springs in the front, like
Yeah,
super
yeah.
stiff. Because also I didn't really like know any differently, but I can't with the kit that I have, the Scotty D kit. You can't really run a sway bar. Like they don't have that. You can like weld on and like fabricate a
Yeah, you can
sway
make it
bar.
work if you
I don't
wanted
do
to,
any of that, but I didn't really realize that like if I have spring rates that are set up to have a sway bar and I don't have a sway bar, they're not the same. Like it doesn't equal the same amount.
Yeah.
So then I had to go up. I have a lot softer in the rear than what I went with, and I got anti-squat brackets, which is like the cheat code for those cars. So basically, on the rear end, where because there's still like like it's a 4-link setup. Like
Yeah.
there's lower control
Yeah.
arms, upper control arms still on that hold it to the chassis. Where the lower control arms mount on the axle, like depending on the angle that it is, depends on like how much forward bite you have, pretty much. So like kits because I mean dudes use Foxbody chassis for drag racing, like
Yeah.
out the wazoo. So a bunch of companies sell a bunch of kits that add basically a bracket to the factory mounting point with a bunch of holes in it, and you can just like adjust the angle of the lower control arm. And like the more aggressive you go, the more forward bite it'll have, and the less
That's
aggressive
pretty
you go,
cool.
the less forward bite it'll have. Yeah.
It's
like my car-
Anybody explain it quite like that?
Yeah, my
So
car
that's
is
cool.
like an absolute rocket ship off the line, like in a straight line. Like
Yeah.
I will drag race dudes. Like it just has all of the grip in the world. And then as soon as I initiate, it's like, all right, I have nothing now. Like I have
we're
no
just
side
skating
grip.
now.
I have
Huh.
enough now. The biggest thing with those cars, like the biggest way to get side bite is by jacking, which is
do you-
like basically say you're at angle,
Mhm.
the weight. So say you're turning left, the weight of the shock is going to be pushing the weight of the car back down on the driver's side rear.
Yeah.
And then if you turn right, it'll be on the passenger side rear. So basically, you just want like the front to be very stiff so it can push the weight back, if that makes sense. So like at
Gotcha. Yeah,
angle,
yeah.
it's like putting all of that weight on the rear end, and then that's how it
cool.
gains more grip.
Wow.
So it's a lot more like weight.
Very
Dependent.
Very, or I guess too big brained for me. That's yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brain's not
Chelsea is
working.
the big brain of Fox world.
Oh yeah,
like
he can handle all the suspension
Yeah,
stuff.
like,
he's the man.
I would not
for me.
I would not know any of that if it wasn't for him. Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
I just like came to him and was like, all right, what do I do? Because your car's fast,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much what got me
Blessed
to where I
enough.
was. Yeah,
We needed him.
yeah. Also having like a 22,000-pound car or whatever, however light his Fox is also probably helps.
Yeah,
His
that's
car
true.
is
His
stupid
car is
light.
amazing.
That's so crazy that he got it that light.
yeah.
Yeah, my car is
Good
like
car.
26, 27, I think.
That's
without
still
meaning it, which is
fairly
still pretty light.
It's pretty
Yeah.
crazy light.
Yeah.
They're
They're just not made of
The
anything.
front end of those are like fairly similar to the SN95 though.
Yeah, so everything is like identical. Like the
Oh,
subframe, like
okay.
you can unbolt a Fox subframe and bolt in an SN95 subframe. Like they're
Wow.
the exact same.
Okay.
Even like the strut, like
So
mounts and
the
everything.
steering geometry
is-
is trash too.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
big
yes,
trash.
it's the same as that. Yeah,
Still on the front of the subframe, I guess.
the rack.
Front mounted rack.
It's a front rack. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sucks. Yeah, I hate, especially because I'll stare at the even in all the Scotty D angle kits.
Mhm.
Like it's nothing to do with the kit either. Like even like FDF makes a Fox. I think,
Yeah, they do.
a Fox
FDF,
kit too.
yeah, FDF does.
SN95, all that stuff. Anyways, it's all the same. Like the tie rod, no matter what, will never be straight.
Yeah, there's
It's
like only so
always
much you
at
can
an
do.
Angle.
Yeah,
It sucks, dude.
yeah.
So
In the lower control arm, because it's like it's not like double wishbone or anything fancy
Yeah.
like that. It's literally just the lower control arm,
yeah,
and
it's
it's
literally
like like
flat plate.
if you get
for
hit on your
the kit.
wheel, like even if you have like I know dudes that have FDF kit, Scotty D kit, Detroit drifting kit, like
Yeah,
the lower control arms are not made of much.
yeah.
But that's kind of
Sucks.
like I know Scotty D, they make theirs like purposely to bend kind of.
Well, yeah.
Like if you
want
get in a
to-
crash, you don't want it to
do
just
that.
like push your subframe like
Yeah.
under your car. But
Now I
So-
will say I would rather. Well, the Scotty D kits are actually fairly affordable.
They
So
are.
That helps.
they're
a lot
super affordable.
to
Yeah,
be breakable,
yeah,
to be a like a weak spot.
yeah.
But I would rather my wheel break.
True.
Before anything.
True.
If my wheel will get, which that's why I like the Kansei so much, because they do that. Like they're
Yeah.
designed to do that.
Yeah, that's kind of like that's a whole nother topic of getting
Oh, yeah,
roasted.
dude, we
That's
got
a
into
whole
that on the
nother
100th
like
episode,
roasted.
bro.
Yeah,
With Kansei,
like
and
real
I'll-
wheels versus like
Yeah,
I don't know. That's
Yeah.
a whole
Every
thing.
time I bring that up, it just gets fucking eaten
Yeah,
alive.
it's-
Y'all
yeah.
are relentless with that.
I got ABC exclusives on my car.
Black wheels
so
suck.
That is something I will stand by. Actually, I still have that same opinion, but I saw Cole Richards' car in person at Atlanta. The black
the
wheels
only
work.
one
They
that can
actually
pull it
work.
off,
They
dude.
actually work on his car.
Oh, I hate it.
think it's because he has the chrome livery sort of deal, so it like offsets it in
Yeah.
a way. I don't know. I think it works.
Yeah.
His car is probably one of the best looking prospect cars in my opinion.
I could agree with that. Yeah.
I think so. It's sick.
Prospect, yeah.
It's rowdy
For
too.
sure.
It is so loud. Hearing it on your
Oh,
door is
and
crazy.
Dude, he's a madman.
He is,
behind the
yeah.
wheel. He's such a good driver.
It's crazy that was my first time ever driving with him. Was
Yeah?
was in the final battle of a comp. Yeah, I feel like that's always how it happens though. Like there's just like dudes that you've never driven with, and then you go throw down like the craziest comp battle ever.
That's always a good feeling.
Yeah, it is.
Especially someone that you've wanted
Yeah,
to drive with
Yeah,
for so long.
definitely.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Well, not the comp side of it, but whatever.
All Comps are sick.
Yeah.
I'm also just saying that because I'm doing semi-well this year. Maybe if I was doing bad.
Gloat it, dude.
Maybe
Fucking gloat
maybe
it.
if I was
I'm
doing
here
bad.
for it.
Maybe if I was doing bad, I would say that comps suck.
Okay. Well, just on the suspension stuff, the setup of it. If you had to put a price tag on what your setup right now costed you, like just everything underneath, what would you say that would cost?
I would have honestly no idea.
Really?
Well, okay. Are we talking
Just
like
be an estimated
everything
guess,
that
like-
I have now, like coilovers and all, like
Yeah, just suspension wise.
Suspension
and all
wise,
that, like
yeah.
motor and all that stuff, and whatever.
probably like 3 to 4, probably with
not that
everything. It's
bad.
not that bad. The most expensive part are probably the BC coilovers,
Wow.
which are like I think they're like a grand.
They're the
I think.
BRs?
Yeah, they're whatever the lowest
Yeah, it's
spec
about
is.
11,
Yeah,
1200 bucks.
yeah, something like that. The Scotty D kit, don't quote me on this. I think it's like 800, 900 bucks. I think,
I think that's right. Yeah.
and those rear little like adjustment brackets are like $100 probably.
That's surprisingly cheap.
Yeah, because there's nothing like you think like an
Wow.
IRS car. I mean, you got to buy front arms, rear arms. Like there's tons of like little
Yeah.
thing, and there's really nothing that like really nothing
Well,
to
I
buy.
mean, I always tell people with the Z, there's like a little cheat code, I guess you could call it. If you just want to zero out your camber and maybe get a couple extra, like maybe half an inch toe at most,
Mhm.
or whatever, you can literally just buy I think it's the toe arm and the camber arm, which the toe arm should be your bucket delete.
Mm.
So that way you just always go true rear on a Z
Yeah.
anyways. But yeah, that's literally it.
Yeah.
You can get majority of alignment
Yeah,
specs you
yeah,
want.
you definitely
rear.
don't need to do the whole shebang that like
Yeah,
people will do
yeah.
because you end up just confusing yourself. You have so many arms and you're looking at them and like I don't know what any of that does.
Well, you're forcing yourself to have to do your own alignment. 'Cause
Yeah.
nobody's gonna touch it.
no,
Even
yeah.
my buddy Lewis that has at Limitless, Limitless. Sorry, dude. Fucking brain shut off for a second.
Yeah.
But I'll go and take my car up to his shop to do alignments and stuff, and he won't touch like camber and all that. Like,
Yeah.
he just won't do it.
Yeah, I feel it.
It's
Yeah,
like, well, I'll be here
because
all
they're so
day.
like weird. Yeah,
Yeah, like you need to when you go that in depth, you're forcing yourself to be able to. You have to be able to do the alignments yourself, and then just go and get it laser aligned as
Yeah.
far as toe goes,
yeah,
which sucks.
yeah.
But
I feel like that's one of the most important things to learn in drifting, is like suspension, like
Oh, I
suspension
agree.
setup and like how to do it yourself.
it's just so confusing.
It's also
so
important to know though,
confusing.
like I feel like a lot of dudes will like learn about suspension and stuff and then just like be changing stuff on their car like every time they drive it, like doing a different alignment or like changing
How
parts.
do you
Like
ever get used to
like-
it at that point?
at some point you just got to be like, all right, it's going to be what it's going to be. Let me drive it for a while and then make a decision.
Yeah.
Or if you make a decision and change something, change one thing at a time and then go drive it and see what the
in
difference
every
is.
aspect of your life. I don't care
That's-
what it is.
yeah,
Every
yeah.
aspect of your life. Don't
Yeah.
change a bunch of shit at once.
Yeah.
You'll never know what fixed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Okay. Good shit.
I tried other coilovers on the Fox. I'm not going to name the companies, but they were very, very bad.
yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm going back to BC's.
Yeah, BC's baby.
Yeah.
Stay with them.
They're the way.
I probably need to go up a little bit on my spring rate up front.
Yeah.
So, Cody, I might be talking to you soon. I didn't know this part would go in the podcast, but okay. So, actually, do you run any type of race gas in that car?
I guess you would consider it. I run E85 in the car, which is not really like a race gas, but yeah.
It's still from like the gas station.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
it's pumpy, yeah. But yeah, it's not like
How
normal.
was the
gas.
difference going to E? Or did you even run it on 90?
So yeah, so when I originally started the car and drove the car, it was on just regular 93 like pump gas. And the biggest thing with me is I had a lot of trouble with the car running like really, really hot all of the time.
Yeah.
And also I was scared about pushing the power limits on the timing with regular pump gas, because you kind of run into like a little bit of a like pre-detonation issue. So like, I'll switch it to E anyway, because actually E is cheaper than normal 93. So I was like, all right, E85, put E85, and it actually did make a pretty significant difference in my temps, in my engine temps, which is, I didn't know that was real.
Yeah.
And then I did it and I was like, oh, it is real. And yeah, and then I could push the timing a little bit more. I mean, really, like on my car, it's probably not worth putting
Not
it on
much,
E
yeah.
because it's not like on a turbo car or something like that. Definitely, like I would run E because it's more stable. But yeah, on my car it's probably not that worth. But it's cool.
I really do want to get the only thing that I'm lacking as far as E goes is injectors. And once I have injectors, I can go E.
Yeah.
But I just stuck with the 93, and I'm obviously running the Renegade. Which, dude, surprisingly, that shit is like way cleaner. Like,
Is
you
it?
can physically feel it in
Yeah.
the drive, like just the way the car revs and
Yeah.
stuff. It seems smoother. And I saw even just going from 93 to this 93 was like 8-degree temperature difference and
Wow.
stuff too. So
Wow.
weird.
It's crazy how it makes that big of a difference, but it really does. Like it went from
Yeah.
my car overheating like after every 2 laps to like I could do like 3 or 4,
Wild.
which is literally just by changing the gas, which is crazy.
Yeah. Actually, at Driven Luck, I had it since my car broke. I still had fuel and shit in the bed. And
Yeah.
this dude that drove his car to the track, he drove a shit ton. He got a fuckload of seat time. But he like damn near ran out of gas. And he was like, he came and
Oh
asked
my
me
God.
if he could get, if I had 93. And I was like, yeah, but like it's Renegade. It's not like normal
Yeah.
93. Just so you know. And he was like, oh, I don't, whatever works. I really appreciate
Yeah.
it. So I gave him some of the Renegade, and I went ahead and just let him like just take the 5 gallons, like just dump it all in,
How
whatever.
nice of
Go
you.
have a little bit more fun, then go home. Make
How
sure you
nice
get home
of you.
safe. And then he went out, did a couple laps, and he comes back in. He's like,
I
dude,
got a
what the
race car.
fuck?
Yeah.
This thing's like faster. I swear it is. And it's like, I was like, what? I mean, yeah, it's there's less additives and bullshit in the
Yeah.
gas. So yeah, it's gonna run a little bit cleaner. It's just gonna feel
Yeah.
it's gonna feel a little faster because of that. But
You put a 50 shot of nitrous on his car.
yeah, and it's like, dude, I think it was an E46 that was like
Mm.
beat to hell, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if he did it, but like that
probably,
car's
like,
been through it.
It was probably sipping on the
which-
Renegade like, this is fine wine.
Yeah, I can breathe.
Yeah.
Oh, finally a good meal.
Yeah.
That's so funny, dude.
Yeah.
You haven't tried any type of race gas or anything?
Mm-mm.
Like none?
No.
Damn, you should.
I should. I might.
Hmm.
Maybe just not in this
You're
car.
just scumbag Matt into getting some E85 off of him.
Yeah, there we go.
There.
Yeah, I would be curious to not use E or pump E anymore. Like I feel like I don't have a tester and I've never tested like pump E, but I'm sure it's all over the place.
Dog water.
Yeah, I'm
dude.
sure it's all over the place.
Jimmy's done it multiple times. Whenever he got his
Oh, I saw that.
fuel barrels,
I saw
in, he
that.
did
Yeah,
a couple tests
yeah.
on it, which that's cool to see. I like seeing
Yeah.
that stuff. With that car, have you ever had any like catastrophic failures or anything with it so far? Or has it been relatively decent.
It's
too?
been pretty good. When I originally built the car, I used like a factory style like pulley driven power steering pump.
Okay.
And I used to blow up pumps like every 2 events. They would just die. And I
What the
kept
fuck?
fighting it, and I finally gave up. And then I switched to electric power steering, like out of a Volvo,
Yeah.
Volvo 240. And since then, that issue has been. I highly recommend if anyone has like issues with power steering, go to a Volvo pump, electric pump.
Really?
They're sick. Josh Esty, he has a 240 that's EcoBoost swapped. And he had
Nice.
a bunch of power steering issues and finally switched to the Volvo pump. And he was like, dude, why have I been buying so many pumps all this time when I could have just bought this one pump and been done?
I probably should have done that. I went
If
to
it works,
4
it works.
racks before I ever
Oh
got
my
the car out the jack
God.
stands, bro. It was bad. But it was because of the pump. Who, not the dude that owned it before me, but whoever owned it before him
Mm.
put this pump in there and took all the restrictors out. So it was
It's
just
just
blowing
blowing,
racks
yeah.
as soon as
Yeah.
it turned on.
Yeah.
Um,
Then
yeah,
other
power
than
steering's
power
big.
steering, so that car is weird because I'm not very smart about anything like electronically or engine wise.
Me neither, dude. That's why I got a wiring
it's
specialist
so
on this.
yeah.
I hate wiring.
It's so annoying. That car is ran on a Holly Sniper, which if anyone knows what that is, it's literally like it's a carburetor pretty much. Like
Yeah.
it takes up the same footprint as a carburetor. And it has 4 injectors that spray down the barrels like a carburetor. So it's still fuel injected, but not really. It's
Yeah.
not like direct injection or anything like that. And I have problems with that thing quite a lot. It just does like little weird stuff. I think the biggest fault, and it can't be its fault, it's definitely my fault, is those are made for like dudes that have classic cars, like street cars, like old things that came carbureted from the factory, and they hate like the unreliability of a carburetor for like street driving. So they're like, all right, let me throw this little thing in there, and it completely removes like all of the bad aspects of a carburetor. Like it cold starts just fine, but they're not really made to be like high efficient, like wide open throttle. Like I'm running like 145, 150 degree intake temps.
Then? Like, is there? Can you?
So yeah, I need, and I'm actually funny. So when I did the comp in Atlanta, I almost got out because my car started running on like 2 cylinders basically.
Oh shit!
Because it just would mess up. Fun. So if anyone watches any of the battles of that, I'm clutch kicking it like it's a stock Z, because it just made no power. After that weekend, I was kind of fed up with it a little bit because it is annoying, like having car troubles. So I'm going to switch it to like a multi-port fuel injection system using the Holley Terminator, which is like with all the LS guys run and stuff. So it'll actually be a true multi-port, like made for performance, good solid system. So I'm actually currently ripping all the sniper stuff out and putting that in right now. So,
nice. Yeah. Okay, sick. How much does that cost?
A lot.
A lot?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to somehow or another have like a car from cars that I've traded and parts that I've taken off of cars. I had a Terminator system already from a parts car.
Fuck?
Yeah, and then the intake that I'm going to run is just a factory like 302 style fuel injection intake. So yeah.
Well, look at that shit.
And I'm going to run D Schwartz injectors.
If you had to go in,
if you need to get some, you don't have an injector sponsor, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'm gonna plug D-Schwartz. If you need injectors,
absolutely.
If you need injectors, go get some D-Schwartz injectors. Yeah, they're sick. Yeah, they are on Injuku. So yeah, because I started working with D-Schwartz when I built. I have a FCR X7. That's why I was admiring your FC. It's a 1UZ turbo.
Nice.
Yeah. So I need to get some injectors, and I got injectors from them, and I love them. So I'm gonna run D-Schwartz on this car too, which is pretty sick. I feel like.
Yeah, I need some D-Schwartz. I just got some no-name bullshit injectors in right now. And
it's crazy the difference, like the reliability of like a good injector makes or breaks cars. Like there's dudes that
it makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, there's dudes that'll have like eBay like no-name injectors, and they'll blow their motor because they'll fail, or like if your voltage gets low, like the pulse rates just like it just and it'll just blow it up. Yeah. So having like a good solid injector makes the world of a difference. And what's sick is theirs comes with all of the that's true. Theirs comes with all of the tuning information too. Like all of the pulse like width and I don't know tuning stuff, but it makes it simple for a dumb guy like me.
To Jay, and he looks at it and he's like, all right, these are the numbers. We do this. I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Tuning is something I would love to like learn or even understand.
I just want to
like
learn the basics to be able to make tiny little adjustments at the track myself. That way I don't have to bug him all the time. Yeah. I hate doing
Or like I would love to like if I build a new car, like be able to get the car like somewhat running and driving before like
be able to make your own base map and shit.
Yeah, just like something cool. Like
what do you do?
Something that it could drive to the dyno and do a pool. Like that would be sick. But yeah.
I need a dyno in my car too. Just in general. Fucking Christ. I have to.
Dynos are kind of sick.
Yeah.
Like I love taking a car to a dyno.
I have yet to. I've never done it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's sick. It's awesome too. Well, it's kind of like a scary. It's kind of
too broke over here.
It's kind of like a scary feeling, but when you like finish a car and bring it to the dyno will be like its first like make or break.
Yeah.
Like
ultimate test.
If it survives the dyno, it's gonna survive whatever else you do to it. But
yeah, it'll survive whatever clutch kick you send its way, I'm sure. Oh my god.
Well, it's like I know some tuners and stuff when they tune, like if they know that it's a specific drift car, they'll like on the dyno they'll like do clutch kicks and stuff to like simulate and like change the tune so it's like always fine even when you're doing like weird stuff, which is pretty sick.
Yeah,
it's crazy how like advanced everything has gotten.
Yeah, dude, it's the industry is in that aspect is growing tremendously. Like even the Holly like fuel level sender,
Yeah.
sensor,
Yeah,
whatever
I
it
saw
is.
that. Yeah, Matthew made a
Oh
video
my
on that.
God.
That is
I was the
so
one that edited
cool.
that.
Oh, that's sick.
That was really cool. that
I need one of those.
That
I
video
need.
popped the fuck off. I
Yeah.
think that video has over close to 2 million views now.
Well, yeah, because everyone was like, dude,
it was
that's sick.
ridiculous. Yeah.
I need one because my fuel gauge doesn't work.
Mine doesn't either. Dude, apparently someone, I think it was Hinko Lab or something like that. I can't remember who it was, but they DM'd me and they said plug your AC controls back in and your fuel gauge will work.
What?
I was like, how in the fuck does that make sense? It's AC. There's nothing. What are you talking
Weird
about?
wiring. That's
But
why I hate
guess
wiring.
It's that CAN bus bullshit.
Some
that,
like connecting.
it has this big
Gotta complete the
circuit board
circuit, yeah.
box that it has to go through, and then it goes to the
Yeah.
AC controls, and then I guess it passes through. To go, I don't
Gotta
know.
complete the circuit, I guess.
I was like, man, you're joking.
That's why I hate wiring.
And of course, every other piece of it I have except for that
Except
one
for- of
box
course.
with the ribbon
Of
cable.
course.
I don't have that.
Of course.
Ugh. I love cars. I love them.
I hate wiring.
They're amazing.
Yeah,
Anyways.
because my car is still factory fuel tank, but I have a surge tank.
Which surge tank did you go with?
I've
think I know.
tried quite a few. I don't have this one in my car, but I recommend the radium. The
That's
radium
what
drop
everyone's
in.
been
It's
saying.
especially if you have a factory, because I think for 350Zs they make like a
They
drop
make a
in.
drop in 350Z one.
Yeah.
Because I hit up Fuel Lab because I know Derek over there.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I asked him if they had like a drop in one for the Zs, and he said they don't. So I was like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
I don't want to go fuel
Yeah.
cell right now. I don't have the money for all that
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah,
So-
I have the Phytech external one. So
Nice,
it
nice.
pumps from the stock tank to the surge tank. But yeah, if you have a car that like Radium or any company makes a drop-in one and you still have a factory tank, that's definitely the way to go because
Yeah,
it just
I
looks
need
so
to do
like you
that.
can't even tell. Like it just looks so sick and they're
Yeah.
so simple
Yeah.
and they just work.
Fuck.
Surge tanks make
I'm
a
gonna
huge
have to do
difference.
that,
It's
man.
crazy. Like
Because like even in the NSS videos where I went to
Mhm.
Import Alliance, you can hear.
Yeah,
the fuel
oh, yeah,
cut,
I
dude,
heard
and
that,
It was
yeah.
like it was a little scary because I was there to do ride-alongs.
That's how you blow
so,
motors,
like, I
dog.
wanted
Yeah.
to keep doing ride-alongs,
Yeah.
but I have to go back to the pits almost every 5
Yeah.
laps and fill the tank.
yeah.
It's just so that
Yeah.
fuel slosh doesn't screw
The
me.
biggest scare in the world is not having a working fuel gauge and having a surge tank. Because your car will just drift until it's empty. Like, because it just will never fuel
Oh,
slosh. So you'll
shit,
just never
yeah.
have, like, any realization. You'll just keep
Ooh,
driving and then you're
yeah.
just... That has happened to me twice. Because I don't have a fuel gauge. So I would just fill it with gas, like, before the event and go drive a ton. Be like, well, it's not fuel sloshing. But then I'd be like, oh, wait, it's
I'm
got a
gonna be
surge
hitting
tank.
radium up.
Yeah, Radium.
need
I
that.
think like I don't know if the drop-in ones do. Probably not because they probably just use the factory. But if you have like the ones for their actual fuel cells, they like have their own fuel level sensors and stuff,
Oh,
which is pretty sick.
nice.
Probably not for the drop-in ones, I would imagine, because they expect you to
Yeah.
use the factory fuel gauge, I guess.
Well, does it still use the factory hanger?
yeah, I think it goes in
Does
the
it
same
really?
spot. Yeah. Well, I don't
Well, it
think it
replaces the
uses.
hanger,
Yeah, it
though.
replaces it.
So
yeah.
then it would
So
have to
oh
have
yeah,
its
because
own,
it's
its own
So yeah.
level on it.
So yeah,
Huh.
it's probably like an extra.
I'm gonna have to do
Probably like an extra $100 or something.
Correct me in the
but-
comments. Let me know if
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, they're pretty sick though. They're the way to go for sure.
Mm.
Radium stuff's sick.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
so
I love
nice.
radium
It's
stuff.
everything they do
They
is so
make
quality.
Beautiful parts.
Yeah, it's art. It's like literally art. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But okay. Well, Appalachia stuff. I want to.
Yeah.
It's a heavy jump.
That's a
I'm
big.
sorry.
Yeah. Nah, that's a
But
that's
I
a
wanted to
serving
bring that up
topic.
because I know we're getting pretty deep in the podcast anyway. So,
Yeah.
Appalachia events. Before you tell me about like your experience with them,
Mm.
what is your opinion on the events itself?
In terms of outside perspective or driving them?
Both, if you want.
Outside perspective, they're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They're like probably, in my opinion, one of like the best things to happen recently for drifting.
Okay.
Just because a lot of dudes like that was like a dream for like
Yeah.
everybody, and like also even just like if you don't get to drive them, watching dudes do that is like sick to see.
Yeah.
Driving them, it's that exact same thing but beyond better. Like I don't think anybody can explain how like amazing it is to actually drive them and be a part of that sort of thing. And like from an inside perspective, the way they run them is amazing.
Yeah.
They care to the drivers so well. Like you never don't have enough seat time, which is crazy to think because we're literally driving on a mountain. But like I get more seat time at those events than I do at like any other event I've ever been to.
Well, it is like a restricted amount of drivers too. So
True.
that helps,
So yeah, that definitely does help. But like every little aspect of it, even when you're like not during the driving time, like before you show up, like they have little like meetings and like everything is so like organized and well put together and punctual, and everything happens exactly as it should, and like everything is ran super well.
Every person I talked to that has gone has absolutely loved their experience with it. So I'm really curious to see what the growth of it is going to be.
Me too.
Because it's so niche for one.
Yeah.
But so many people love it. And beforehand, I think the only thing similar to it was like Seneca Circuit, where that like 1.5 mile long back road type track. Yeah. Which was way wider than those roads. I'm sure. And it was all open. There wasn't any like dangerous areas, I would say. Yeah.
The only thing that scares me about it a little bit is, which has already happened, and this is not to step on anybody's toes or anything, but other companies are like starting to try to make Touge events, and
I got invited to one.
They're not ran nearly as well. Yeah. Like somebody's gonna. There's one in particular, I'm not going to mention it, but I'm sure some of you know which one I'm talking about in particular. There's one event in particular that somebody made. It's a Touge event, American Touge event, and they were letting dudes with like no cage, no doors, like go drive them, and it's like, that's a little sketch.
I know which one you're talking about. I did. That was the one I got invited to. Yeah. And I told them no because I don't have a cage, and I think they ended up DMing me like a month later and told me that they lifted that rule. And I was like, you what?
Yeah. That's a little...
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly
and just like the way that like...
That's not... Again, we're not trying to talk shit to you or anything like that. We're not trying to talk bad about your event.
I mean, I love the idea of like it expanding into like being a normal thing. Yeah. Like just to see Touge drift events. But I think they need to be done in a way to where it's safe and not stupid. Yeah. Because like, I think people get too on the mindset of like wanting to do that and wanting to make an event that they forget that like what they're doing is actually like.
I want to so bad, but I don't have the balls.
You gotta have a lot.
If I did, I don't have the skill to. And I know that.
It's hard.
God.
It's hard.
And like even you mentioned safety stuff. Like safety equipment wise, you have to wear arm restraints.
You have to have a Hans device.
I didn't know that. Oh, that makes sense. I don't know why.
Yeah, you gotta have like all under the sun. Yeah,
race suit and everything.
They don't think the race suit. It's so hot that they don't really require them, but it's kind of like if you have one, you should wear it. Like they force like if you have one, you should wear it. But if you can't afford to go out of your way and buy one, you don't have to. Yeah,
type shit.
But yeah. You gotta have like their like tech inspection of like looking at the car. Like there's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot. Like they take it for real, which is amazing. Like that's how it should be for sure. Yeah.
How did it feel with the arm restraints?
Honestly, I didn't notice. I thought I would too, but like it's all about adjusting them just the right amount. To like where you can
is it on your forearm?
So I think technically the real spot is like up here.
Okay.
I think that's where you're supposed to like almost right in the like the elbow area, like just above it on the bicep, I guess. But
I wonder why.
I don't know.
I think you wouldn't want it here.
Yeah, because it could like you could
snap
sort
your
of
elbow or
something. So here it's like more girth, like that's a weird word to use, but
more girth.
Yeah. But yeah, you do have to like because the whole point is like even if you have windows in your car, which most of us don't, even if you do, like if you crash, like if you flip your car, the window's not going to stop even if you have your windows up, I mean the glass is going to break, so your arm's going to go out the car. So just as long as you have them adjusted to where you physically cannot move your arms outside of the window, but you can still reach anything, you really don't notice it. That's wild. And with the right hand, unless you're in a right-hand drive car, I guess. But this hand, the one that you're usually like moving the most for like handbrake or shifter, since it's the furthest away, you can kind of have quite a lot of slack. I feel like, because you don't have to have it as tight as this one, because like
you gotta go a lot further. Yeah, how's that measured? Like how do you? How do you
I don't
determine
know.
what
I just
the
like
length is?
what I did is I
How
just
far you can go?
before the event when I got them, I just sat in my car for a while, like fully strapped in, and just like played with them because they adjust really easily. It's like a harness, like you just pull a little thing.
So there's
It's
no
like,
like restriction, like how much slack you can have.
I don't think so. I just think it's just as long as you're
obviously probably not.
I
for
mean,
the
probably
but,
like yeah, I'm sure like crazy race series
Yeah.
like higher ups do, but like yeah, pretty much as long as your
where do
arms
they
can't
even
go out the window.
bolt to? what
So
is-
certain ones are different. Like I think some companies sell ones that like actually like bolt to the car, like how your like lap belt does. And then other companies and like the ones that I have, they go through your harness belt. Like it's basically like another loop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's
That's
just
not
like
that
when
bad
you're
then.
putting everything on, you just slide that one too, and then it clips.
Huh.
Yeah, like mine. I'm sure
pretty
some are
cool.
different, but the ones that I have, I got mine from Jigs. They were very cheap. But the ones
baby.
that I
Get it
have,
from Injuku.
yeah, they probably do. I should have got mine from Injuku, but
Could have got that sticker pack.
yeah, real. The ones that I have, they just like there's two little pieces they like Velcro on,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then the strap itself like clips on, so you can just like leave it in the car and unclip it and get out, which is
That's
pretty
so
nice.
cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty sick.
Wow.
It's
so
funny-
crazy,
it's
dude.
funny 'cause,
Those
like,
events are ridiculous.
It's funny because so when they do the Appalachia stuff, like it's basically like a 30 car train. Like they send us we're all lined up at the
Yeah.
same time, and they all send us at the same
go
time.
down, you come up.
Yep.
Go down, you come up.
Yep. And it's funny because like the gentleman's agreement is kind of like if you're behind somebody that you don't know or you didn't like plan ahead of time, don't like tandem with them.
Yeah.
Like even though you're still tandeming with them, but like don't be like on their stuff
Yeah.
unless they know
Give a
that you're
gap.
going to be on their stuff. So it's like it's hard if you want to ask somebody if you can be on their stuff because you can't reach your arm out the window. So you're like trying to be like but you can't like stick your arm out the window. It's
That's funny.
yeah, it's funny.
You could, hey, not. Yeah.
Yeah. I said
Do the
like
thing.
what we were talking about. You're like you don't think that you have like the skill. I definitely think that it takes like a lot of skill to do it, but also like if you're good enough to do it and you can do it, it's not as bad as it seems, sort of thing. Like
I'm sure I'm probably like over exaggerating.
Yeah.
Sure. But it's
Yeah.
just from the looks of it and how like gnarly it looks.
it also
Like,
helps.
I would be nervous
yeah.
as fuck the first like 5 times.
Yeah.
At least
I think
went up and
everybody
down.
is. Yeah.
And like, and I watched Jimmy Oaks' video. The last
He did a
one.
really good. I'm so
And-
sad he got sick.
I
'cause
know,
yeah.
I know that has to suck.
Yeah.
But that would have like the way he was projecting it. That would have been me. Like
Yeah.
handbraking every single corner.
You kind of have
because
to.
I'm,
Like you kind of
nervous
do
as
have
hell.
to. Yeah. Even like I think the main thing that helps is the Drift Appalachia dudes, like the dudes that they pick.
Mhm.
Not like I'm not trying to say that I'm as good as like FD guys because I'm definitely not. But like everyone else that they pick is extremely good, like solid drivers that you know are going to be
Right.
like on point every time. So there's not like that extra like scary factor of like somebody else messing up and then causing you to mess up sort of thing.
True.
So because like later in the like because they're 2-day events, so like the first day is usually like kind of like everybody's getting their jitters out and it's kind of like a little scary. But the second day, like the amount of like
ball out.
like like we probably drive a little too hard sometimes. Like
I'm sure that second day is where all the
Yeah.
wrecks happen.
yeah,
and-
yeah. But yeah, like people will be like on each other's doors tighter than they are on normal tracks on up and down the side of a mountain with a 50-foot cliff off the side. Like yeah.
Jeez. Dude,
Yeah.
I always remember that every time I hear the Appalachia events, I picture the video of Denofa like screaming about that Miata.
yeah,
That little
yeah,
red Miata
yeah,
that fucking
that's
just
my.
skimmed
Oh,
the
you can't say
guardrail.
red. You can't say red.
Red, why?
Yeah, those are my homies. Their team is Team Shade, and it's
Team
orange.
Shade.
It's
It's
orange,
Oh.
and everyone
Well,
calls it
then
red.
Whoever color graded that video needs to do better work.
Dude,
I'm
no,
just kidding.
no, because every like. No matter what photo you take of it, it always looks red. I don't know how.
Really?
In person, it's very orange.
That's
But
so
every
weird.
like phone photos, camera photos, they always look red, and everyone always makes fun of them and calls it red. They're like, no, it's orange.
Damn, that would get on my nerves.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. You can't call it call it
Oh.
red.
That's
Yeah.
hey, that's another thing though that I want to point out because whenever I started drifting, it was so hard to get media of my car because it was just a basic color
Yeah.
Z
That's the
that everyone had, and I would like ask the media people
Yeah.
like which Do you have any pictures? And they would send me pictures of the other car. And I'm like, no, hold on. The one with the white steers.
Yeah.
Like, look for that one. And they're like, oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, having like a car that stands out definitely helps that
So
too.
much more. It sucks to say, and like sucks that is reality. But
Yeah,
car looks better, you get more better.
my biggest thing with drifting, like to tie in with that, is I feel like a lot of dudes will like we were talking about like style and like events that cram down on like people like having good looking cars and stuff. I also think it's important to know that like in drifting you should do whatever you want to do,
right?
sort of thing. Like I feel like too many people have too many opinions about other people's stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if someone likes their car and there's a difference between someone that has a car that you can tell they don't put effort into and like doesn't look good and like they know it doesn't look good. Like, yeah, you can critique them and like get them to make their car look better. But like if someone spent all of their time, all of their money making their car look the way that they wanted to look or drive the way they wanted it to drive or sound the way they wanted it to sound, like who are we as like other people to judge them, sort of thing. Like I feel like you should be able to do what you want to do.
Absolutely.
And that's
if it's your homie though, bullying.
That's true. Like friendly banter is the best way to improve and make people go to the next step. But it's the same with comp drifting too. Like I know you hate comp drifting, but like a lot of dudes,
I don't hate it, okay? I don't hate it.
Okay.
Just hate it for me.
Okay. A lot of dudes, so you realize that you don't like comp drifting, but you're not going to go tell someone that wants to do comp drifting that, nah, you shouldn't do comp drifting. It's the worst thing ever. Don't ever do it.
Oh, I'll still tell you.
Oh,
but
you
I'll
will?
tell you reasons why.
Okay,
And if you still
okay.
choose not to.
I respect that.
I fucking 5, brother. I'll support you.
But there's some
hope you
dudes
win.
that like have too strong of opinions on that, I feel like.
Yeah,
Like if someone is dead set that what they want to do in their drifting career and what they plan to do is competition drifting and that's where they want to be.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you shouldn't be like, no, that's not what you should do. You should do partying.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I don't say that. I'll normally ask them why. Like, why do you want to do
it's a difference between
comp
having a
drifting? That's the point of
conversation and then just hating on the internet because you think you're cool.
On the podcast, I'll bitch about it if I want to. No, I would try and give some intent. I don't want
Comp drifting's
I
rad.
just want drifting to grow, anyways.
Yeah.
So
Comp drifting's rad.
yeah, it's rad.
the way.
It's not for me. It's not rad for me.
It's pretty rad. This year has been like eye opening for comp drifting because it's really like the first season that I've like purely done comp drifting pretty much.
Yeah.
And are planning to finish out the rest of the DISL season. They only have 3 rounds this year, but
Yeah. If you had to pinpoint one thing about comp drifting specifically that you didn't know going into it, what would it be? Like something that
like I would
really
tell
talks about.
myself like, oh, you mean like someone that nothing that okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. I feel like, okay, Josh SD, I'm quoting back to Josh SD. He said this last round at DISL. The way that he knows who's going to win is by telling who has the most fun. The dude that ends up having the most fun is the one that usually ends up winning. The dude that is like high-fiving, like smiling, like excited about his driving is usually the one that does well. So I think for dudes that are wanting to get into comp drifting or someone that hasn't done comp drifting, when you do, don't take it that serious because at the end of the day it's really not that it's not that serious. Like have fun doing it, and when you have fun you'll end up doing better than like being hard on yourself and like being upset with yourself.
Yeah,
So,
Denofa is the best example of that.
Yeah, dude, he has the most fun of anybody. Like when he did FD, he was probably the most fun,
especially his last years. Like,
he just I don't care.
I just want to fucking throw down, and then you won
and
the
he
whole
did.
thing.
yeah, and then he did.
So, yeah, dude, and that's like the whole. I mean, you could get weird with it and talk about like manifesting and crap like that.
It is true though. Like like I don't know.
I think that's just people wanting to put a name on it. But it's like just have a little bit of confidence in yourself and have a little fun.
Like don't be a
that's as simple
cocky
as it
like
gets.
weirdo, but like
Yeah.
don't show up and be like, well, don't even know why I came. I'm gonna get last. Like
Right.
like just have like every comp event that I've ever done so far, I've came into it with the same mindset that I do as a fun day. Like I drive practice like how I would like any fun day.
All right, let's party.
And it's like, all right, and then we just so happen to get a comp at the end.
Yeah.
Like that's how I see it. And then you have so much fun during practice and drive with so many people that when you do comp, you're like, well, I want to win just because I want to keep driving.
Yeah.
So like
I
you
wanna
win,
go
yeah,
off track.
yeah, you win, so you keep doing battles and keep getting laps. That's honestly
Becomes
like the
a
mindset.
challenge for
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
In that sense.
It's all about having fun. Keep drifting fun.
Big time.
Even
that's
during
for
comps,
sure.
you can still keep it fun.
Yeah, always. So, what would you say has been your personal favorite event, and which one has like taught you the most?
Can I answer it in 2 separate questions?
Sure.
Probably the one that has taught me the most was the Riverside 50K.
Really?
I did, I guess how long ago was that? Like a year ago, I guess.
Close to a year,
Yeah.
if not a little more.
Yeah, when I did that event, that was like my first. I was still new to like tandeming, which is crazy to think that I've only been like tandem driving for like a year and a half, basically.
Yeah.
But it was like when I was just starting tandem drifting and like starting comp drifting,
Yeah.
for sure. And like going into it and just watching how like these pro level teams like do certain things and how they practice and how they set up the car and like even like I came into that not expecting to do good because like there's no way like it's pro level like 800 horsepower except for Chelsea, I guess, but like
True.
super high horsepower fast cars, and I'm like there's no, and I had just started tandem drifting, there's like no way I'm gonna do good. So I came to that event purely to learn about how like the competition setting is, and I feel like I learned the most during that, and I feel like that's when I learned about having fun in comps.
Yeah.
Because that's all I did, because I knew I wasn't gonna win, so I was just like, I don't care, I'm just gonna have fun. And then I somehow went one more time with my 32 battle and almost won, just because I had
That's
fun.
nuts.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then what was the other one? Was which one I must learn? And my favorite event.
Yeah.
My favorite event was probably the first Drift Appalachia that I got to do, which
Yeah, I
was
figured it would be that.
stage 2, I think. Stage.
Where
Stage
was
2.
that one?
Oh my god, you asked me too quick. Where was that at? It was in Tennessee. Or no, West Virginia. It was in West Virginia.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
It was in West Virginia.
Have they even done one in Tennessee?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, the first one was in Kentucky, and that one wasn't very good, apparently. I didn't get to drive that one.
Yeah.
But apparently the road that they chose wasn't the best. The second one was in West Virginia, and that was the best one that they had. And then the third one was the one that I got to do, which was in the same spot in West Virginia, which I think is why I liked it so much, was because even though I didn't drive the stage 2, since when I came to the stage 3, it was all dudes that had already driven it. So like everyone was like super knowledgeable about it, and then could help me like drive it, sort of thing, because they had all the tips.
I think that'll help a lot with that event if they can find the dedicated road and just keep it to that each year and recycle it.
I loved that event too, because the way that they planned it, the road was right next to this like big resort thing that we all stayed in.
That's cool.
And it was like a like gated like little resort thing, and all of us, like all the dudes were there. We all like hung out like every day after driving, and like it was so close you could just drive your car to the Touge and then drift up it and then drive back. That's what a lot of dudes did. Yeah, that's what a lot of dudes did. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite part about it, was just like the whole environment of it.
Experience.
And they had that, which they've done this at every one, I think, except for the first one. But they've done this at every one where they have like the cruising thing, like on the, and then that's just
into
so cool.
Towns,
just
nearby.
like, because all the like the little towns that we go to, like nobody knows really what like drifting is.
Yeah.
Or like the people that do know what,
towns,
or the people that do know what drifting is, like they're the ones that are most excited about it, because they're like, holy crap, why is there drifting in my town? Yeah. So it's like it's so cool to see like the community actually enjoys what we're doing and what we're bringing to their little towns, which is pretty cool to see.
Absolutely. Even from an outsider that's never even been to one, it's super cool to see.
Super cool.
So, big shout out to you, Drift Indy, for
Drift Indy
making that come to fruition just in general, making that a thing.
Yeah.
It's
and
nuts.
Backroads of Appalachia. They're the 2 companies. Or actually, I think there's 3 technically.
Is it?
Yeah, there's like like a
I didn't know
mangle.
that.
Yeah, so
I guess you'd kind of have to.
Yeah,
That's
so
a
like
lot to handle.
Backroads of Appalachia are like, they do like events like that before the drifting came along. They would do like autocross events and stuff.
Okay.
And they're the ones that like go and scout what roads to use and choose what roads to use. And then Drift Indy is like the drifting side of that. But then they like mingle together and make it happen.
Musketeers over here making magic
happen. And then I think don't quote me on this, but I think US Drift is a part of it too.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Don't quote me on
Wow.
that. Don't quote me on that though.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure somebody knows.
I'm sure
in the
someone
comments,
will
but
tell me I'm
we're
wrong.
wrong. We could totally be wrong.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess what is your goal moving forward with drifting? What do you want to do?
My goal is, as cringe as it sounds, because every little kid wants us to say this, I really, really, really want to drive the FD level. I want to get to that point and compete in FD. I've already made up my mind, so don't tell me in the comments that I shouldn't do FD because it's stupid and it sucks. That's
a waste of money.
yeah. When I started
but-
drifting, when you look at drifting, that is like the peak of American drifting in terms of like the highest level of competition.
Yeah.
And
Best waste of money you'll ever spend.
It definitely will. It definitely will be. But just to be able to say that I competed in something that I had a dream of, even if I don't do good, or even if I only do one season, I don't care. Just to say that I did it and I was there with the best drivers in America, or like there's dudes from around the world that come do FD now. So that'd be sick.
Absolutely. Like even people like myself that say like don't go to FD and do that if you're trying to make a career out of drifting, it's not the smartest decision.
No, definitely not.
But like FD is insane. I have no care in the world to ever be in FD.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had the opportunity,
you would do it in a heartbeat.
Fucking insane experience. Yeah, I would do it.
Yeah.
But like personal endeavor, nah.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Yeah.
So
I think it's more of just like a proving to myself sort of thing.
yeah.
I know on the Jeff
Proving
Donati.
to myself that I could drift in general was good enough, bro. I was like, this is nuts.
Yeah, I know on the Jeff Donati podcast that you did, he kind of said the same thing along the lines of like proving to yourself that like
Jeff,
you can drive that.
Oh my God, I hope Jeff has the best career ever.
Yeah,
in existence.
Jeff's such a good dude.
He is amazing. That is one of the
good
best
dude.
people I've ever met. Still to this day, I've told him this himself.
Yeah.
Best fucking podcast ever recorded.
Yeah.
That is the best podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments too. Like, you let me know. Was that the best one?
I 100% agree that it was.
Oh my God.
I know this one's not going to be
and
that
oddly
good.
enough, no, this is I like this. This is my
This is more
thing.
chill.
This is more chill. This is my jam.
Yeah.
But fucking Cameron Stone.
Mm.
Did you see that one?
Yeah.
He's love
such a
that
good dude.
motherfucker,
He's such a good
dude.
dude.
Oh my God, he was the only person to ever like really bark back at me at what I was saying. I was like, "This is the best, dude. You're actually giving me a conversation. This is awesome."
Yeah, he's such a good dude.
Cameron, you're welcome on anytime you want.
Yeah, he's such a good dude.
Yeah. Who's your favorite driver up there in the Indy crowd?
Drift Indy crowd.
Yeah.
Favorite driver.
Yeah. This may roll
To drive with or as a person.
Let's do both. Your
Okay.
favorite person to drive with and the driver that you think stands out the most.
Ooh. Okay. Favorite driver to drive with is Clint Stotts, who is the red. Don't hate me. The orange Miata that
Dude, you gotta come on the podcast now.
He does.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. The orange Miata that Denofa was screaming at. He is the one that, if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be tandem drifting as anywhere near as well as I did. Because as we talked about earlier, he's the one that I asked to he told me to hit him, and I hit him. And after that,
what a guy.
Something snapped in my brain. And yeah, he's just so good to drive with. Like at Drift Indy Fun Days, we'll do like 100 laps just going back and forth between lead and chase, and it's just like the most fun ever.
Sick, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then the one that stands out the most is probably J-Dubs.
J-Dubs.
Yeah, he drives a 280Z Dawson that is
I've seen that
bone stock
Yep.
engine-wise. Like, I don't know how he does what he does in that car. And he's such a good dude. He's the most chill, like, down-to-earth dude.
Short wheelbases,
I could only imagine.
Like driving a Miata.
Yeah.
Pretty
And me and
much.
him, like, even like I said, Clint is the favorite one to drive with, but I would say J-Dubs is probably both. Like I've done so many laps with him in multiple, like in both the Foxbody and the G, and he's so fun to drive with.
Yeah.
And he's such a good
You're
dude.
welcome on the podcast too. I'd be curious to talk about that car.
That would be a good one to have on.
I'm curious what the whole setup, but we don't have to go through
Yeah.
all that.
I have no idea.
Yeah. So
I know Drift Indy did a blog post with him semi recently. So you should go give it a read. It's a pretty good read. He's a super good dude.
Well, you guys go check it out too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be the only one looking at it. Okay. Well, I guess what is the best way that the people could support you and what you're doing?
Right now I'm trying to branch into YouTube content, so
Okay.
I really would push that. I've posted 3 videos I think, and they all kind of suck really bad, but
Good.
yeah,
You got past the worst part,
Yeah.
which is just pressing record
that
and
is
uploading.
that
it.
is that is definitely the hardest part.
So,
Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah,
love
probably
it.
it's just Staub, just my name, and my Instagram.
It'll be
I
in the
post on my
description, of
Instagram a
course.
lot more than I do any other social media platform. So those are probably the 2 that matter, is YouTube and Instagram.
Sweet. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, of course, those will be in
YouTube's hard.
the description.
YouTube's hard.
YouTube is very hard.
It's so hard, especially drifting. Like you just you get there and you're like, all
Nobody
right, I'm gonna
cares to
film
watch
and I'm gonna make a video, and then you get there and you're like, this is stupid. I'm just gonna go drive, and then you
Yeah.
don't film, and then you're like, oh, I
just
have no content.
forget, dude. I'm like
That's another thing too. Yeah, you
It-
just genuinely forget.
that, and my car keeps breaking.
That's
so I'm
true. Yeah,
stuck working
yeah,
on the car. And
yeah,
I can't pick up the
yeah.
camera. And I just need someone following me with
Yeah.
the camera. That'd be amazing.
That would take so much off. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, so with the knowledge you have now, if
Yeah.
you were to go on Enjuku and build a mint seat time car perfectly for you, what car would it be, and what parts are you getting on Enjuku?
I don't want to say this answer because everybody says it. Everyone says Z. Everybody says Z, and it is the right answer, but like, that's boring.
But is it though?
Yeah.
Like nowadays, Z's are so expensive now. that,
That's
like,
true. Not every
E36
Joe
looks
Schmo.
pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah,
dog.
I love like the duality of it. It just like steps down. Like every few years, it was S chassis, then Z's, and then like it's just
Yep.
going down the ladder.
that drift tax just eats
Yeah,
them alive.
it does. It does. How long until Foxbodies? Dude, Foxbodies are gonna be bad because they already got drag tax. They're gonna
Yeah.
have drift tax too. I mean, that's gonna be. They're already through the roof.
Corvette's picked up quick.
That
that's for sure.
Well, they were already
yeah,
pretty
and then
high.
Drifting
Yeah.
didn't help shit.
No.
Yeah, sorry. What car and what parts? It can be a Z. It don't matter.
Saying if I went back in time and was building a car for me to start in,
Yeah,
learn,
with the knowledge you have now, though.
I'm not gonna lie. I think driving a really bad and crappy car is a cheat code when you start.
I agree.
So I don't think I would change anything.
My Z was a pile of shit.
I don't think I would change anything. I think I would go back and get that same E28 BMW and get some BC coilovers off the Enjuku website.
Shit.
And that's all I would do. Because my theory on this,
that.
and I think this is truth, the crappier the car that you start in, the harder that it is to drive. Once you
Yeah.
build up to being able to somehow make it work, when you get in a car that works effortlessly, you like skyrocket into like the best driver in the world.
Dude, that's why I always say it. Don't
Oh
throw
yeah,
suspension
Yeah.
parts at your car like
Yep.
crazy. Like me, yeah, throw some coilovers at it. Get it where so you're not don't have a shitload of
yeah,
body
yeah,
roll.
yeah,
And go have fun. Figure it out.
yeah,
Upgrade as you go.
yeah.
And like, dude, a good example of that, Alex Martini from Martini Works.
Mhm.
He came out to the Drift Mansion and brought his Gloria, I think is what it was. And I think he had stock suspension on it too. And like, dude, I mean,
Body
big
roll.
body boat
God.
just rolling all over the track. And he's slinging this.
Yeah, then you get him in an
around.
FD car and he can like
I'm like,
kill
yeah,
people.
put him
Yeah.
in any other one of these
Yeah.
cars. I bet he kills it.
Yeah, that is literally the cheat code. As much as it sucks starting, because you'll hate yourself.
Yeah.
So you'll be like, why am I doing this to myself? This sucks so bad.
Yeah.
But once you get to that point where you can make it work, you get in
And then
anything
you
else.
throw that one part on it.
Yeah, and you're like,
then
oh my God.
Oh, fuck, this is a different car.
Yeah, angle kit is the perfect. Two friends of mine are like a perfect example of that. Tyler Fawcett and Travis Fawcett. They're twins actually, and they both have matching green 350Zs, which is sick.
That's funny, dude.
They drove for like a year and a half, I think, or maybe longer, with completely just like BC coilovers, no angle kit, no
That's what I
nothing.
did.
And they struggled for a while, and then they got to that point, and they were like killing it. They were like, "Oh my God, you guys are doing super good."
Yeah.
And then they got a GK Tech angle kit put on it, and they were like, oh my God, you guys are doing really
well,
good.
It teaches you that barrier that most people like can't comprehend when you start is like you have to go faster
Yeah.
in order.
Yeah, you can't use
to
the
make
angle
the
kit
line
as a
work.
crutch if you don't have one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like you if the faster you go, the more momentum the car will
Yep.
stay going
You're not
in that
fighting the car.
direction instead
Yep.
of just looping.
Yep,
When
definitely.
you're not going fast enough, the weight doesn't have somewhere to go, so it wants to just go in the
Definitely.
direction of the wheels.
Definitely.
Sorry.
Drive hard or go home.
rants. Yeah, exactly.
Drive hard to go home.
So if you're fucking up, go faster. You'll probably get it figured out.
Unless you're like going Mach 5, then
yeah,
maybe you
let's
don't
see you
got-
doing that in a car though. That'd be pretty impressive. But okay. So speaking of advice, though, what is your best advice for anyone just getting into drifting? Don't.
Nah,
There you
do.
Don't.
Yeah, what
Drifting
that
sucks.
says.
Don't try
What
it.
that says.
Shout out.
Nah, I think just going back to what we said like a million rants ago is like do what you want to do. Don't let other people's opinions make you hate drifting.
Yeah. Buy a
'Cause-
cat.
Buy Cat, they help a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, because
Helps
like
with the-
because some
bad
some
spinning
corners of the
distance.
internet are toxic, especially drifting related.
Oh yeah.
And
You'll
it can
always
make
find
it
them.
can make people not want to do it anymore, which is like sad, but it has
I've
happened.
seen
It's
it
definitely
happen,
happened.
yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that's just the main thing when you're coming into it. The drift community is amazing. They're
Mhm.
like a family. Like you can go to an event you've never been before, and everyone there will help you out in every way imaginable. So let the people that you see in real life and at the track and the homies that you drive with be how you see drifting. Don't let the bad be the overarching
Right.
story that you see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell people that when it comes to content stuff, because
Yeah,
especially if you guys are trying to be like a content creator and
Yeah.
all that crap, the only comments you will see most of the time are the people that don't like it. You're not. I am bad. So I just look at myself because I am a terrible content scroller. So when I'm just
Yeah.
which I can't do it.
Doom
often, but, like,
scrolling. Oh my god.
if you're just
yeah.
scrolling, like
Yeah.
I never like videos.
Yeah.
I don't comment on videos half the time. Like
Yeah.
I don't interact with shit,
Yeah.
and I feel bad. But
Yeah.
there's
it's
a lot
true.
of those people out there.
It's
that do
true.
that.
Yeah. Like
so
just because you're not getting
those.
just because you're not getting the engagement
yeah.
that you mean doesn't mean that your content sucks and that you
Yeah.
should stop. Like yeah.
I was literally just telling someone that was dealing with something with their shit,
yeah.
and I was like, dude, why? Like, just stop reading them.
Yeah, just keep going.
Leave it alone. They're gonna be there, but you're not thinking of all the people that looked at it and was like, damn, he's right.
Yeah.
And then just scrolled on
Yeah.
past instead
Yep.
of fuck that motherfucker, blah blah blah.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude.
Definitely.
There's just chumps in the world.
Definitely.
So
Keep life fun.
that.
Keep drifting fun and keep life fun.
Well, speaking of life, if you had the opportunity to speak to the entire world, what would your one message be?
Oh, that is, oof.
Even the
Probably,
people that know that question's coming is still
probably the one thing that I would say is don't overprice S13s and make them cheap again.
make S13 or make
S13s cheap again. Make them cheap again.
Oh my god.
I love like S chassis have my heart and they always will, but they're so expensive. They're so expensive.
Should we make that a shirt?
Make S
Make
chassis
S-chassis
cheap
cheap
again.
again.
That
Like,
is such a
and that
shirt.
Make America great
Yes,
again.
that is
Shit,
such
that'd
a
be
shirt.
hilarious.
That is such a shirt.
Oh damn.
Yes.
Let me know in the comments if I should do that. I'll
You
sell 'em.
definitely should. That would be so good. I got to get a royalty off of that. I got to get a percentage.
yeah, 5%, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, all
Yeah.
right. Well, I guess you want to plug your. Well, I guess you kind of did plug yourself. You want to
we've
plug
been
anyone?
all
Any
over the
sponsors,
place.
anything like that?
No, not really.
No, fuck them.
I don't have.
Jokes,
Hey,
jokes,
actually,
jokes.
that's the plug. That's the plug. If you're a company, talk to me nice.
Talk to me nice.
Because
Talk to me
talk
nice,
to me nice.
Daddy.
Because drifting is expensive.
Yes, very
Very expensive.
If you want to support the homie, there he is.
Yeah.
All
Go
of
go
the
follow my
socials are in the
Instagram.
description if
Yeah.
you want to reach out.
Yeah. Instagram's the only thing I post on. So.
Yeah, you'll have to expand that.
Yeah.
All right, so- no, I'm just kidding. But All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
I think this was a good episode.
I hope it
don't
was.
care how
I don't know
sporadic
what we
were.
said.
This was great.
I don't know.
I hope
All
you
of
guys
this last
enjoyed it.
few hours was just a fever dream.
Yeah.
I don't-
Make them feel better. Leave it in the comments. Say you loved the episode. This was a great
Yeah.
podcast because
Yeah.
it was.
I
He's just
appreciate
being too
the
humble.
invite because this is an awesome. I love what you're doing for
Yeah,
the
I'm
drift
sorry
community.
it took so long too. By the way,
Oh,
I've been
no.
around you a million times.
It's
and just
fine.
never asked. Them,
Yeah,
but
I didn't even think of it. But yeah, I just love what you're doing. Like what you're doing for the drift community is sick.
thank you.
Like
try.
just everybody, like you can get so many people together just to rant and do stupid
I've
stuff
got
like
to
we
meet
just
a
did.
lot of cool people.
Yeah, which is
amazing.
awesome. That's super cool. So yeah, and this studio is sick.
Thank you.
Very sick.
Everyone says it's smaller than it looks online. So
This is about how I expected. If I'm being honest.
really, you're the first person I
Yeah.
swear to ever say that.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't
Oh.
know. When I pulled up, I didn't know where it was gonna be.
Yeah, when the road,
Yeah.
the directions to here,
Yeah.
it feels like you're going in the middle
Yeah,
of
I was
nowhere.
like, what am I getting into?
Yeah. Like, is this dude trying to kidnap me or something? The fuck?
Yeah.
But all right, well, enough of that. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yep.
It's been a good one.
Yeah, I
You
hope-
made quite
I
a
hope.
distance to come down here, so again, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
But go follow him. Go subscribe to his new YouTube channel. Again, all of that is in the description. And of course, go subscribe to this channel as well.
Yeah.
If you're sitting here watching this long, I don't see.
Yeah.
why
If you're
not
all the way,
anyways.
if you're all the way down here, yeah.
dude. And I think the last time I checked, it was 65% or so, somewhere around there, of you guys are not subscribed, but you still constantly watch. So that doesn't make sense.
Nah, we gotta make that.
We've already
number higher.
passed 100 episodes.
Like we were just talking
let's
about,
just go.
the
Just
people that
click
enjoy
it.
the content the most are the ones that don't react to
I
it.
know,
So you
right?
gotta subscribe.
I look. I don't ask for much. I don't ask for much. Hit the subscribe button. The best thing that you could do actually is if any single one of these episodes has helped you like ever, send it to someone that you think it would help. That's it.
Yeah.
You know how many more people we would get into drifting by just doing
That's-
that?
yeah.
Simply
Yeah.
crazy.
Definitely.
So think about that. If you got someone that you think it would help, send it to them. If not, I appreciate you just watching. So other than that, that's all we got. Links to everything you will ever need is always in the description. So go check those out, and I will see you each and every Sunday for a brand new episode.
Stacking way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Hit home runs, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want fuck, then I leave her. I'm a young pop star, call the boy Justin Bieber. Got a little money if you want, I can teach you. Whole life a movie, you can watch it in theater. Stacking way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Hit home runs, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want fuck, then I leave her. I'm a young pop star, call the boy Justin Bieber. Got a little money if you want, I can teach you. Whole life a movie, you can watch it in theater. We in the bag of the band, shit like a sauna, she working a sweat. Told her come over, bring her and her friend. Put her to work, gotta earn her the rent. Fucking so good, you should pay me for. Fucking so good, you should pay me for sex. Ain't one for relations, on to the next. Can't let a hoe go and fuck up a check. Two-tone, I like my women in two tones. Never get caught, I got two phones. Maybach Mercedes, the roof gone. New whip push to start it. Whole whip aftermarket. Chain in my neck look flawless. Never too much money, I got Staying way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Hit home runs, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want fuck, then I leave her. I'm a young pop star, call the boy Justin Bieber.